Democracy. Dominic, Bruce will not be here this morning as he has some personal matters to attend to. So I'm in the studio all by my lonesome. Yes, on what appears to be possibly a rainy morning, but we will see how that develops. So, good morning to Mr. and Mrs. Giuseppe. Good morning to Mr. and Mrs. Regis. Morning, Angie. Morning to Manu, Mother Tunapuna. Good morning to Nicole Caesar, Patsy Edwards, Davia Andrews. Good morning. Alison Samuel, Alison Haynes. Morning to you all as well. To my good friend Louise Matura. Good morning. I think, let me see, boy. I believe the social media platform should be up. I think Bruce is working on that. So let me see. Where is this remote? Right. Okay, what's going on here? Let me just check and see. All right, just give me 1 second. Right. Yeah, so we're just trying to clear up some little technical issues here. But Bruce is working on that remotely away from where he is, so hopefully we'll have it sorted out in a bit. Yeah, so we should be up and running on Facebook and YouTube, so you can join us there for those of you who are so inclined. And for the rest of you who tend to listen to us on the radio, old school, good morning to you all as well. Oh boy. Well, I don't have access to the newspaper headlines, so I guess I'll just open up the lines for a little bit and take some of your calls, as is the norm. Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Mr. Dominic.
Hello, good morning.
Yes. Praise the Lord. Give the love to Jesus. Face the east. Put your hands in the eyes, face in the east. And thank God. Thank God through Jesus. Bruce, morning, wherever you are, be guided. Trinidad and Tobago particularly. Spread the love like butter and a hot piece iron. Mr. Mount St. George. Good morning, Mr. Passy Street. Good morning to 1285. Good morning to girlfriend, Miss Jean. Good morning to you. Umano. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning to you. Good morning to 12, Eddie. So long time I shout you out. I know what you're doing. The skies are bad. Jenny and Carol, good morning. Hey, Bataria. Brother Sterling, good morning to you. Good morning, Mr. Chance. Mr. Nabuna, Mami Sauce, good morning to you. See, nice time to get up. Anyway, love to everybody. Give your love to Jesus. Give your love to Jesus. Have faith. I don't know what they're fighting for. Only Jesus knows to prevail. So, you know, earlier, thank him. I talking too long. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus, for Mount Hope and Bonnet Gardens. Love to everybody. Thank you, thank you. Dominic, have a nice one. We'll be listening here. Good morning to everybody who I didn't call well. Everybody back there. Everybody morning. Take care. Thanks.
Thank you, Manu. Yeah, we see you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Manu. Good morning to my sister-in-law, Miss Passy Street. Special good morning to Mr. Napuna, Dina, Trinidad and Tobago. I just want to tell you one thing. Last night I heard the Attorney General get a new name, Reginald Limo. Okay? Should know from who. Can go by again.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dominic.
Morning.
How are you today?
I am good.
Okay. Morning to everybody. Morning to Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to the Tiger, Manu, Shak Lady, Mr. Napuna, Sharon, Mom Sauce. Morning to all of, and God bless us and keep us. And good morning to my Prime Minister and his family. God bless and bless everybody. Good morning. And Bruce Wayne, you there? He didn't come yet?
Nah, he's not here this morning.
All right then. But wherever he is, he will hear if you're listening. Good morning. All right. Yeah, bye-bye. Have a blessed day, everybody.
You too.
Okay? Trinidad and Tobago. All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Hello, good morning.
Hello. Yeah, hello, morning, my brother.
Morning, sir.
Morning to Trinidad and Tobago, morning to everyone. What I already called here for this morning. Over the weekend, some persons would have organized some kind of off-road rally or some kind of thing like that where they have these big pans on them with these big wheels and thing and run through the mud and all that kind of thing up in the back of Princess down there. That is between the road, the Kiktaska Road from Marley 2 to Daisy Road. Right, that is the M2 ring road, from Magnitude behind Princess down there to the Daisy Road. And they would have left us set of mud And I tell you, mud all this morning is real mud. The whole road is mud. Anybody coming down the road there could just skate off the road. Ain't asking, and these persons who responsible for this, I feel they should be held accountable for cleaning the road, get the road clean after they have that kind of function. Clean up the road, right? Wash down the road, pay somebody to clean the area, all that static mud because people could lose their lives. If somebody had some horses in that area, we got them to move the horses on them because the horses would have been all over the road all hour the night. So now we asking that persons who are responsible for keeping that function in any area, any part of Trinidad and Tobago, and they bring the mud back on the public road. You know, we asking that you all clean the road, please. Please clean the road. So, brother, asking you to get the relevant authorities to get in contact with these people and them, that they could treat with that. Right? Because a lot of people doing a lot of things and everything they blame government and government and government. If somebody crash and die there, they're going to blame government. You understand? Thank you again, brother. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir. Yes, to the authorities that are listening, please. Caller is making a clarion call for assistance in that matter. And he's right. Irresponsible individuals are going to engage in this type of activity and then blame the government, right? That everything is blame the government. Hello, good morning.
Blessed morning to you, Mr. Dominic. Bless. Praise the Lord for being in the land of the living. And hearing your voice this morning. Blessed love to Mr. Bruce Wayne and Mr. Aaron Felix and the family. Blessed love to Mr. Iwer George also and his family, all bless him. Blessed love to my Prime Minister and his family and colleagues. As I always say, hold on, just hold on to that balance wheel, Mr. Prime Minister. Don't let go at all. As I say, blessed love to my Titan's family. Gemma, blessed love to you. Blessed love to Manu. Blessed love to Angie Iwer. Mum Sauce, Mr. Chan. Blessed love to Shak Lady, each and everyone else. Blessed love to Maratana Puna and Isabad and so on, and foreigners, Trinidad and Tobago. Blessed love. Blessed love to the four corners of my area. Past the street, Mova, Beatam, Chumakat, Paradise Side. Blessed love to you all. Hold on, and do that journey and don't let go. And teach your children the right thing as they're on the holidays here right now because Satan is on the loose. So, do the right thing in Jesus' name. Each and everyone else again, bless. Keep on, keeping on. Right? So love. Thank you, Mr. Dominic, for taking my call.
Thank you. Jenny, morning.
Hi, morning, Dominic. Morning, Bruce. You hear me, Dominic? Hello?
Jenny, you there?
Yeah, morning again, Dominic.
Morning.
Bruce, whoever he is, hope everything is well. Morning to all the callers and listeners on 91.9. Mr. Chance, Maratana Puna, Zina, Manu, Brian, Rowley Jr., all the Carol, the whole Tobago clip, Brother Sterling, everybody. Yesterday I listened to the Prime Minister, but I'll have to listen again. And he would have mentioned the money that it has, and if the government were to pay, well, he would have mentioned the 2%, and he would have been saying the things that a lot of us have been saying before the negotiation was not over. It was a continuing process. So when the government, the city offered 2%, that was not the date and the end at all. The city would have increased to 4%, and some unions are still saying that they're not accepting the 4%. He went on to speak about a 5.5%, and he would have spoken about how much it would cost because there seemed to be some type of finances there, nothing that they could use, helter-skelter. And you would have mentioned how much a 5.5% could cost in terms of instant back pay, and then the reoccurring expenditure every year now to keep paying those salaries, and then the private sector now, they too would want some type of increases in those state agencies on that. I find what he spoke, not because I'm defending the Prime Minister, because I listen to evidence. I like to listen to data and have a very logical conversation to understand what's happening. I wait now to hear what people, like, I call them germs and termites, those union leaders that we have now who seem to be bent on destroying the union movement, what it was really, what the union was created for. They seem to have drifted from that, and they still operate on the 1930s and 40s, which was needed back then because, of course, the whole labor movement, the whole labor force and everything back then, that type of activism in unions was needed because you were still under the master servant. There was no grievance procedure, there was no Industrial Relation Act, there was no industrial court, so workers had no avenue in which to have dialogue with the employers. They were just fired. There were no incentive, health and safety conditions, especially in the oil sector, was very bad. There was nothing, sick leave, anything at all. So back then, Uriah Butler, Elmer Francois, Rienzi, Cipriani, and all those big union leaders at the time in forming unions, the climate would have been totally different. It would have been a more aggressive, a more, that kind of atmosphere. They would have fought for things. We got it. We got Industrial Stabilization Act of 1965 that has been amended to the Industrial Relation Act of 1972. Coming out of all those things, we have the Industrial Relation, the Industrial Court. We have procedures how to treat with employer-employee. We have gotten all type of different benefits coming out of that also. We see where unions are now able to negotiate with the CPO a time frame. We have sick leave, maternity leave, and it goes on and on and on. They seem to be operating on that still and haven't gone forward. They haven't been more progressive. They haven't come up into times with technology, globalization, anything. And I want to see how they're going to respond now to what the Prime Minister would have said. Because Roger was asking, he stopped at 24%. And the backdrop president and consummate Duns number 2, he asking for 19%. So I wait to see what they're going to do now, if the behavior is going to be the same adversarial thing, calling out workers on the streets. Again, I admire what fire and police are doing. They would have taken the approach that I think is very creative, that they're sitting at the table. They would have refused the 4%, the CP would have raised to. So I wait to hear what is going to happen now, because when I look at NUGFW and Massey's, which is a private entity, of course, NUGF was able to secure 12% for the workers at Massey, the daily pay. But then again, Massey is actually making money, so they may have a little more latitude in terms of percentage. So again, as I wait to see what these, now when you said dinosaurs were very important and all that, these germs, how they're going to treat with this matter, with what the Prime Minister said, and see again if they're going to confirm what we already know, that they're totally out of tune and they need to remove themselves from the head of the union, put somebody young, may not be in age, but in terms of ideas and the thinking, and partly because unions are very, very important in any society. Unions are all over the world. But in Trinidad and Tobago, it seemed to be that the union leaders don't understand the importance of unions, and they're bent on destroying the union. I don't know if they don't realize that is what it is. So again, as I wrap up, I wait to hear what they are going to say, how they're going to treat with this matter. And because again, public officers have been paid on 2013 salaries. We all frazzled, we all want our monies. We all agreed the 2% was ridiculous. We went through all of that. What we are saying now, in fact, me, I can't talk for everybody else. I wait to see how they're going to use this and if there's going to be common sense approach, or if it's a hard-headed political move where they want to drag the public service into a song and dance with the government because of the fact WASA and all these other factors happening. They want to get into governance because they feel the unions could make a big play again. Although they didn't, I don't know if they didn't understand when Kamala Prasad, the sister, and they signed the Pfizer Accord that she spit them and threw them out. She emasculated all of them, but they seem to be joining back again with her. So it's interesting times. I just wanted to say that. Thank you again, Dominic, for always allowing me the opportunity. Reach on safety. Bye.
Thank you, Jenny. 342-0081-466-5391. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Mr. Dominic.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning to all the members and staff, listeners, callers, home and abroad. Mr. Barataria, Mr. Grandi, Marabella, Mr. Mano. Good morning to all of you all, and I hope you all have a blessed day. And when I call, I always, well, I'm not always, but I like to leave a word with the people that never blame people in life. Good people bring you happiness. Bad people bring experiences. The worst bring you lessons. And the best give you memories. Have a blessed day, Mr. Dominic.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good morning.
Blessed morning to you, Dominic.
Morning, sir.
Morning, Trinbago, and by extension, the titans of democracy. Morning, Mr. Chance, Jenny. Our constituency group, Mr. Barataria, Brian, Rowdy Jr., Mommy Saw, Shak Lady, Miss Sizaban, Boy Mano. Locked on as usual, my brother. You have a safe and blessed day.
You too.
Thank you, sir. God, out to here.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Huh?
Yes, sir, morning.
Yeah, morning. Yeah, just calling to say something. Listening to the Prime Minister yesterday.
Yes.
What I see is that Trinidadians, a lot of them do understand economics, as you had said, because it's reality. And the Prime Minister was saying, as big men and women, we need to sit down and negotiate. We need to sit down and discuss what is there and what it have and what it don't have. Because at the end of the day, he said that the government have a responsibility not to bankrupt the country. And that speak for itself. You have to come real. Some of these unions, I was a union leader. I was a unionist. I was a council member in EJFW. And let me tell you something. I find it, as Jenny was saying, these union leaders, something has to be wrong. Because if you don't have this, don't tell me that you're trying to make me borrow to pay off, because you give it the amount out to court, because after public servants get what they want. After public servants get, you have the public sector, then you have the state enterprise, and so it goes. So you know how much, and then according to Jenny, the recurrent expenditure, right? And that's to continue after, because you have back pay and then you have the recurrent expenditure to continue from there on. No. Somehow, these people decide that they want this country bankrupt, because either they want it bankrupt or they just want to be powerful, stupid, and painfully done. Because you can't tell me that your country that you live in, and then according to Dr. Rowley, it does not stop there, because it has subsidies also on LPG gas that you're trying not to take out anything. done that, that's just small enough because you know why? Because everybody is in okay? And what I'm saying is that check it out. We can't only try to benefit one day because remember it's not only we alone. I have a retired public sector worker and we can't only study about the country and we benefiting from the subsidy from TNT and this one and that one. So at the end of the day, it's sensible talk. Sit down and negotiate, talk, have sensible talk, come and shop in the social and that's the problem. Because we have people who see yesterday go by the embassy. Like the embassy or in the or politically and constant look to carry a report. Like madness a report that you look 20 report and they have a report for 25 years. I tell you these people crazy and I think they even come out of them. These people and them only fool and people are going out to that politics until we go up front. It's clown, it's to cough now. Yeah? These are the people they want to Trinidad and Tobago. My God. Thank you very much for allowing me this constitution and look more.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dominic.
Morning, sir.
Morning. Blessed morning to all Trinidad and Tobago, all lawyers, and callers, all who on the live. Jenny, blessed contribution all the time. As long as you're exposing the union, I am thankful for that information. But listen very carefully. All the unions good for is negotiate, protest, and demonstrate. They have no ideas. They're broken for ideas. And the negotiations right now, Dr. Oli is putting out the case that it will cost at the top, who are asking for 19%, is $11 billion. At the bottom, it's $2 billion or something. And I don't know why they want to go these high numbers. Is it or is because they don't really have a figure to give to the government, to give to workers? They're always talking about having better plans for the workers for negotiation, better conditions for workers. More expected. And yet still, they themselves don't even consider their own membership in all these unions. They have the biggest membership, and they have no business. All the business is about is the 1% and the government business. They run in the business. The government running the business. And all they want is tell the government, I ain't settling for no 4%. I ain't settling for this. I ain't settling for that. I want this. And if you ain't going to this, that are bringing out all the workers. I will shut down the country. No. The unions have to get their marbles right in these times because, Dominic, they don't have nothing right. They ain't have a salon shop. A gas station, they kill a man in a gas station somewhere in Pfizer. It's closed down. Why they ain't open that? They need to have no business at all. All they're doing is watching people's business, macking, and trying to pick them, especially the government. And you see black, yellow rats along the East corridor, check what they're doing. The CNM never do nothing, and all these different and antecedents always creating. Check all this in CNM is forever. They build this country, we build this city, we build this nation. CNM build this nation. All CNM doing right now is playing track for Gucci to run. And right now, CNM clear the track, run on your track, CNM. Thank you very much, Dominic.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, I see the ads countdown is on. So let me see. You have 1 minute, caller. Hello, morning.
Yeah, morning, Dominic.
Morning.
Morning, Dominic, again. Dominic, I listened to this brother here just now. Right? And some of the things he on par with, and some of the things he not on par with. Right? What I want to say is this. How could 1% could have 75% of the wealth in Trinidad? That is what we need to be dealt with. To level the playing field. 75% of the wealth in Trinidad, 1% alone having that, that's something wrong with that. That cannot be by good means. So we need people to deal with these issues. We need somebody who will stand up against persons like these. It doesn't matter anybody fighting anybody else. 1% could not have 75% of the wealth in Trinidad. That is a problem. That is a problem that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? We have been supporting these persons and they have not been supporting us. And they're keeping 75% of the wealth. We need them to give us back our money, give us back our wealth. Right? Give us back what belongs to us. That's what we're asking for. So if the government could do such thing, you're all up in arms. But these persons must come now. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Right, so we go to the ads, and when we come back, we'll get into today's discussion. Well, of course, based on what the last caller was talking about, that's a whole discussion for another time. Yeah, so stay locked. We will be right back. Let's see.
How you feeling? Give me a I saw man is working hard to get out with their wife, to make sure things good for the family. I saw man do hit my wife, I saw man do drink and drive. My only vice is the party. I know they raise the price of rum in the budget. Everybody sing! No, but the money still can't done from it.
John chapter 8, verse 32 says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Tune in to the Street 91.9 FM every Tuesday from 6:30 to 7 p.m. for the program Walking in Truth with me, Pastor Gary Grant from Walking in the Spirit Ministries. Come, let's discuss how Christ Jesus can set you free. God bless you.
If your hands are anointed, and if your feet are anointed,
Tune in to the Street 919 FM for the program The Final Hour with Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr. and his wife Nikki Garcia for the Bible study every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Mark chapter 16 verse 15 says, "Go into all the world and preach this gospel for every creature, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation."
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande, for the old-time gospel hour all-night prayer. This and every Friday evening on the Street 919 FM from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Designed with you in mind, this program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, "He hath showed thee, O man, what is good and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to justly and to love mercy and walk humbly with thy God." Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795-222. For further information, call 753-1113 or email us at church668hope@gmail.com.
Every Friday, it's all about Fire Mood Soca Fridays with MC Dukan Selector Kochi from 6 straight to 9 p.m. blazing all the latest and past soca hits. So remember, make it a line, make it a day, rock and come in, you know. It's all about Fire Mood Soca Fridays on the Street 919 FM. You don't know.
Tune into the Street 91.9 FM
every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
for the Repairing of the Breach radio program with me, Bishop Showinal Thomas.
The scripture says, "And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places.
Thou shalt raise up the foundation of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairers of the breach, the restorers of the paths to dwell in."
Don't miss it. Repairing the Breach Radio program with Bishop Sherwin R. Thomas on the Street 919 FM every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Join Pastor Kelvin Heinerine and friends for The Way, The Truth, The Life Radio Ministry, a Church of God ministry, live on the Street 919 FM from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. This and every Sunday on the Street 919 FM. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me. John chapter 14, verse 6. For further information, contact 686-3845, 349-5178, or 342-7303.
What is Apex? It is the pinnacle of high-performance vision through a lens. It's clarity, no matter what angle you look at. It's comfort, no matter what you do all day, every day. And it's customized with every digital measurement your eyes require to see at their very best. Apex Digital Lenses by Value Optical, the ultimate lens design for your eyes. Value Optical, expert care for your eyes.
Are you ready for that boat experience again? The Sea Champion and the Embassy say, book with us for that unforgettable boat ride experience. Sea Champion leaving from King's Wharf, San Fernando, and the Embassy leaving from Breakfast Shed, Port of Spain, or Westside Trinidad. For more information, call 399-5959 to 814723 or email us at coralvisiontT@gmail.com. Book now and reserve your cruise.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying locked to the Street 919 FM. For those of you who are just waking up, of course, you're tuned in to Titans of Democracy. Bruce is not here this morning, so I'm holding down the fort all on by my lonesome. Yeah? So, right. So on Sunday last, I would have touched on an article written by one Theodore Lewis, bemoaning what he perceives to be PNM neglect and abandonment of PNM neglect and abandonment of constituencies that are deemed to be PNM. And I would have made the point that I am not aware that the PNM holds the deed to any constituency in this country. By virtue of the fact we always hear them saying, no party don't own your vote. You could vote for who you want. Yeah? But they love to label certain constituencies PNM constituencies. And then because of, the state of crime in some of these constituencies, they're quick to ball. That is as a result of failure by the PNM to take ownership, according to Theodore Lewis, of these constituencies. And it was an article which has drawn a lot of attention. Some people have put a number of anti-PNM and anti-Rowley spokesmen alluding to that article to buffer their argument that, this government ain't doing nothing for their supporters, they ain't doing nothing for PNM constituencies and so on. And again, to attack the Prime Minister, who had to come yesterday and once again defend himself against what is a patently biased media, who continue to provide a platform for persons to publish all manner of editorials knocking the government on a number of issues, and these articles on these editorials, again, containing a number of inaccuracies, right? So one of the things that Theodore Lewis put in his article that I read on Sunday, and I saw Ralph Maraj in his article on Sunday allude to that again, bemoaning the state of the education system in this country and wanting to lay the blame again at the feet of the Prime Minister and the government. I saw an article on Facebook this morning. Some 9,000 students would have qualified to register for and attend the remedial classes being offered by the Ministry of Education. Those students who would not have done so well in the last installment of the SEA exam, right? 9,000 students. Only 2,700 registered out of 9,000. So the next 6,300, what's going on with them? So apparently Dr. Rowley was supposed to wake up and go to each of these houses with the application form and sign up each of the children, because that is his children. Because they said it's not, don't blame poor parenting, no. It's not that. It's PNM neglect and PNM abandonment and the incompetence of this government to do its job. Yeah? So that 6,300 students who didn't enroll, who qualified for by virtue of their less than stellar performance in the last SE exam, who will not be attending for whatever reason. Just don't blame their parents. The parents didn't have anything to do with it. The students apparently, these 10, 11, and 12-year-olds were supposed to make their way down to the Ministry of Education or to the schools or whatever was the process to register. They were supposed to go and do it for themselves, right? Parents had no hand to play in that. Or as I said, Dr. Rowley was supposed to go with Amni and Gatsby Dolly, house to house, and sign up all of these children, because that's the government's responsibility. But we don't want to lay blame where the blame should be placed, right? Mr. Lewis talked about, that the PNM not doing enough on the east-west corridor for where their core constituencies are. But I recall, and I would have mentioned a number of things that the PNM would have done, specifically in the 2 Laventille seats, where they would have put in swimming pools to provide opportunities for the, as they like to say, the at-risk youth in these communities, because idle hands makes the devil's workshop. Yeah, so opportunities provided, and not just for the children in these areas, right, but adults too, because I understand that the pool is operating under the supervision of members of the Coast Guard and so on, and that there are swimming classes and whatnot. But we could see coming out of that, once the facility is properly used, possible future Olympians in swimming. But we're not looking at that, right? Because you have other constituencies in this country that don't have a swimming pool. The PNM put it there, but we will give them no credit for that. We talk about the East Port of Spain Development Corporation that was charged with responsibility for providing urban renewal to the housing in East Port of Spain, East Dry River, Duncan Street, Nelson Street, and so on. And each time that issue comes up, you have people from the UNC who would run to tell the persons in that area, don't listen to the government, they just want to take your house and give it and tear it down and put up high-rise for the 1%. Right? Apparently, Mr. Theodore Lewis was sleeping under a rock when it was that Dr. Rowley would have, I think it was last year or so, commissioned a committee under the leadership of Anthony L. Watkins to go into Laventille and speak with the people who reside there to get a first-hand view from the residents of the 2 Laventille seats, Beetham and Sealots as well, to get some information from them as to what they think is the root cause of the problems in their community, and to solicit from these persons what they think are the best solutions to fix the problem and what they think the government needs to do, right? But apparently Mr. Lewis didn't, he was under a rock when that committee was commissioned. But PNM abandonment and PNM neglect, and the PNM don't want to take ownership for the constituencies that have been loyal to them for so long. How has the UNC and Kamla Persad-Bissessar rewarded her or their constituencies? The constituencies that since 1995 have locked on to the UNC and would not move, notwithstanding the fact that their leader has shown herself to be totally incompetent, unfit to hold even the position of political leader of that party, but they continue to lift her up, have her on a pedestal, calling her queen and calling her goddess and all kind of foolishness. Yeah? How did she reward Separia? She has been the member of parliament for Separia since Moses was in Pampas. What has she done for Separia? Anything outstanding? What has the so-called lion of Oropuch, but he's only a lion when he's within the boundaries of Oropuch East. But the minute he steps outside, he shows himself to be nothing more than a pussycat, right? That is what he is. What has he done to improve the lot of Oropuch East? Or any of the other UNC constituencies to say, well, yes, look, this is an example that the PNM could take to see how you should manage your constituencies. What have they done? When they were in office between 2010 to 2015, what did they do for, they so love Laventille now, and they so love Beetham, and they so love Sealots. But when it is that this committee was commissioned to go into Lavantil, because Dr. Rowley's position and the government's position is the old adage, prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. So the government then go in there and say, well, okay, this is what we're going to do and we're going to do that. They went in there to find out what the people need first and then we will treat with the issue. But what was the UNC's response to that? Their only interest in that, program or that committee was how much money the government spending. So apparently you could put a price tag on development in these areas. You could put a price tag on fixing the issues, the social ills that exist in these areas that they so love. That was the only issue. They didn't applaud it. They didn't tell the government good work or excellent initiative. No, how much money are you spending? How much are you paying Watkins and them to go inside there and do that? And I make the point, every time the PNM is in power and they do anything that even hints at targeting PNM constituency specifically, the UNC always have their people waiting to run to the courthouse and file injunction and go and claim discrimination in the Equal Opportunities Commission. Always waiting. But what I really wanted to read this morning was another article that I alluded to on Sunday, which I really wasn't minded to read it, but I read it in its entirety. And I mean, I need to speak to the hypocrisy in this article, written by one Selwyn Sellout Koju. And it's entitled Keith Rowley's Failed Leadership, Part 1. So, we could look out for a Part 2. Oh joy. Forgive me, Forgive me, but it reads, Why boasteth thyself, O evil man, playing smart and not being clever? Small Axe by Bob Marley. As I listened to a recent message that Mother Bernie sent to Keith Rowley, and Mother Bernie, of course, being Bernie Gregg, or Bernie Jack Gregg, some of you may be familiar with her, yeah? Always doing lives, and every time the Prime Minister has a press conference, she always has to give a running commentary afterwards to criticize everything that the Prime Minister says, yeah? She was one of the loudest and most vocal supporters of the PDP, Watson Duke and Farley Augustine. And after having won the election now, she realized water more than flour. So the transformational leadership that she thought she would have gotten from these two gentlemen so far has failed to realize itself. But I digress. She said, well, he says, that Mother Bernie sent to Keith Rowley, I appreciated anew why Eric Williams paid so much attention to the wisdom of the leaders of the spiritual Baptist faith. In her tour de force, she informed Rowley of some truths about leadership that laid bare his shortcomings as our political leader. Now, I want you to listen to what Bernie Jack Gregg, or Bernie Gregg, whatever the hell her name is. I ain't the godfather and I wasn't invited to the her baptism. Whatever her criticisms are, I want you to juxtapose that against what is being offered by the people that she support, Watson Duke and Farley Augustine. Mother Bernie wanted to speak to Rowley about the mannerism of a man who always reminds us that he is the Prime Minister of TNT. Then, she admonished him for chastising Darren Bahor, a Newsday reporter who was fast enough to ask him a question. She continued, you said that the people of TNT have a right to question the people in public offices because they are here working for us, and we need to ask them questions and get answers. And the way in which you treat journalists, Dr. Rowley, it was very unbecoming. Mother Bernie condemned the rudeness that characterizes Rowley's behavior. Every time you go out of the country and come back, your mannerism gets worse towards the citizens of the country. In case you didn't realize it, that was a citizen of TNT that you were going on so with. And then you want to go up to elections and get re-elected with that kind of mannerism that you have there? You have to be mad, a madman. You have to be crazy. Right? I want to ask Bernie Jack Gregg, if she, like Theodore Lewis, was under a rock, or like Rip Van Winkle was asleep for 20 years, that while you want to come now and condemn the Prime Minister and talk about his mannerisms and so on, and you want to lecture him on the mannerisms of a man, where were you, Bernie Jack Gregg, when it is that the man that you support and you uphold as this transformational leader and potentially the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Watson Duke, when he, on a platform, almost cussed out the Auditor General for daring to come to Tobago to expose a lie that he, Farley, and the rest of the leadership of the PDP were perpetuating with respect to the Auditor General's report into this issue of the zip line, right? That when he got wind that the Auditor General wanted to come up to Tobago to clear the air and the misconceptions and the blatant untruths that they were telling about the report. In respect of that matter, Watson Duke got on a platform and said, basically threatened the Auditor General, that if she came up to Tobago to clear any air, that he would make her life a living hell. You forget that, Bernie? Or is it at the time you had wax in your ears that you didn't hear that? But you want to come and lecture the Prime Minister on mannerisms of a man, right? That when this man, and you want to talk about public servants and people have a right to ask questions. Yes, people have a right to ask questions, and therefore the Auditor General, in the execution of her function in that office, wanted to come and lay bare the truth, as opposed to the fallacies that were being shared in Tobago by the people that you support. Shut your damn mouth. What you coming up here for? I'll make your life a living hell. You do your report already. Shut your mouth. That was Watson Duke. Is that the epitome of the mannerisms of a man, Bernie? You had anything to tell Watson on that? Did you lecture Watson on the mannerisms of a man when he did that? Or how about when he stood up on the platform and called Franca and Melanie stink and dirty? Or how about when he went on a platform and he said, Rowley, pray we don't win them 2 seats because I will lock up your so-and-so, Rowley. Oh, those are the mannerisms of a man, Bernie? Yeah? Those are the mannerisms that you would like to see Keith Rowley practice? Bernie, since you are a expert on the mannerisms of a man? And this is the foolishness that a man like Selwyn Kojo is leaning on to criticize the Prime Minister. But I continue. Rowley's tendency to hold grudges may have poisoned his soul and his view of his world. This is Mother Bernie's take on it. Every time you go and come, you get more angry. You get more hate in you. You get more animosity in you. This is what Patrick Manning told us, and we're seeing it every day. Why did you behave like that? And then you saying that you are the Prime Minister of TNT and you did it with dignity. Mother Bernie took objection to Rowley's self-ascribed virtues when he sought to demean the media to uplift himself. This is not personal, he said. I am just pointing out the role that the media is playing when there is malice. Such an evaluation leads one to ask, who in this context is really showing malice? Really, Selwyn? Not content with his contradictory self-representation, Rowley adds, while I'm representing this country as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago with dignity that you are not accustomed to, you are on your own with that. Rowley's distorted evaluation of his behavior led Mother Bernie to observe scornfully. Which dignity? Where was your dignity when you was embarrassing that journalist? Were you showing dignity then as a Prime Minister? Mother Bernie advised Rowley to stop treating Trinbagonians in such a disrespectful manner. She warns them about the dangers of complacency. People of TNT, let me tell you something. If we don't learn to accept things and say when something wrong and call a spade, God is going to deal with us. The man is way out of order. You cannot sit down in a corner and join with the brotherhood of wrongdoers, and say that what we did was correct. What he did was most distasteful, and that is why we have so much delinquency in the country and crime. Really, Bernie? Where was your condemnation of Vanilla Allen Toppin when she came into the parliament? And Kamla Prasad Bisesa, as Prime Minister, allowed Vanilla Allen Toppin to come into the parliament and say the nastiest things about Dr. Rowley, about his father, about his mother. Yeah. The members of the family that she didn't speak of is who she forget. Some of the most disgusting, distasteful lies. Where were you, Bernie? Kamla Prasad Bisesa, who you're always defending. Leave the woman alone. What are you talking about the woman for? And the woman this, and the woman do thing for Tobago. She opened a police station in Roxborough, and she opened a gas station, and for that, she deserves your perpetual obeisance. Bernie? She finished the Scarborough Hospital at the PNM. They start and they spend so much money on leave the woman alone. What are you thinking Kamla for? So she opened a gas station, she finished her hospital, and she opened a police station. And for that, she deserves your unending gratitude. And everybody in Tobago should go down to genuflect every time they hear the name Kamla Prasad Bisesa. go down and pay her obeisance. Oh, great Kamla, Bernie. But Keith Rowley gave all 3 brand new ferries. You have nothing to say about that. Keith Rowley gave you a hospital in Roxbury. You have nothing to say about that. Eh? You have nothing to say about that. Don't talk about Kamla because she gave you a gas station, a police station, and she finished a hospital. Right? But Keith Rowley gave you a fire station, brand new ferries, all of that you get. But cuss him day and night, right? And that making sense. You want to lecture him on the mannerisms of a man. But you had nothing to say when your fellow Tobagonian proudly stood up in the parliament and said the nastiest things to vilify Dr. Rowley. And on completion of that, they throw him out of the parliament, suspend him for the rest of the session. You had nothing to say about that. That was okay. Yeah? I continue. Mother Bernie advised Rowley to stop treating Trinbagonians in such a disrespectful manner. She warns them about the I read it, right. Rowley offered a different rationale for the crime and violence that is consuming the nation. 2 weeks ago, in an address at the St. Clair police station, he attributed those problems to poor parenting. From the time they get to age 17 and they come out of school, they're no longer under the school disciplinary umbrella. A whole wave of violence is unleashed, and you ask yourself what would have happened between primary school angels and the demons the police are confronting. Something is happening between our 9 and 10-year-olds and our 17-year-olds that is causing our society to be what it is. There are several problems with this statement, and this is Kudju's assessment. As the recent Senate report suggests, all the denominational schools in Port of Spain and its environments are under academic watch. Right. So he spoke about that issue, and so too Theodore Lewis. In other words, our children are not learning much while they are there, and those troubled schools are within the PNM constituency, so he come with that janja too. On December 18, 2021, I noted, despite its fancy-sounding title, the children in this area, mainly Africans, oh great, will be condemned to educational backwardness, even as the Ministry of Education continues with its anachronistic approach of non-educating our children. Right. Reading this report, one gets the notion that we are dealing with communities whose children are a bundle of mental pathologies, not normal children who may be subjected to the kind of disruptions which many children face. These children are seen as abnormal beings who are subject to trauma as a result of where they live, the poverty which they undergo, and parents who do not particularly care about their well-being. In other words, they are psychologically damaged, special pupils in need of special programs. Given this view of our children, it was not difficult for Rowley to jump from these bundles of pathologies to his describing them as monsters. And the Prime Minister and his cabinet have never seen these pupils as normal human beings needing guidance and direction. All they can think of is directing more resources to this issue as if money alone is the solution to the problem. This leaves one to ask, didn't billions of dollars pass through our society over the last 20 years while these monsters increased and the bloodstains continued to blot the streets of our country, as our Prime Minister says? And so says Selwyn Kudju, right? You know, it's amazing. Let me see. There's this man, professor. He goes by professor. I was looking to see if he was carrying the accolade of Dr. Selwyn Kudju, but no, Professor Selwyn Kudju. And I'm always forced to use this term coined by the former president, Anthony Carmona. These men and women of letters that figure because they have letters after their names that they are experts in everything and could come and lecture and pontificate. And then you have members of the literati who will jump on this and say, yeah, like Central called on Sunday to say, yeah, you know, Dominic, this Theodore Lewis man, I just read the thing, and you know, he's an advocate for Africans and so on and whatnot. So therefore, that makes him an expert, and anything that he says condemning the government with respect to perceived treatment of persons of African descent is gospel. Yeah, because he writes articles promoting the upliftment of the African community. Okay. So he can write inaccuracies, just as Selwyn Kudju, as I just read. And again, it is articles like this, right, that skirts around the facts. So parents don't have a role to play in the development of their children. Their responsibility, make the children, send them to school between the hours of 8 a.m. to whatever time school ends. that is not your responsibility. That is the responsibility of the principal and the students in the school that your children go to, right? And then what happens after your children leave school and they get home? Some parents working hard, the children get home in the evening, the parents come home very late. The children don't have the facility of having the parents sit with them when they have to do their homework and all of these different things. Some of them have the facility, a lot of them don't. But we're not going to look at that and see the impact that has on the performance of some of these students in the school. So I come back again, 9,000 students qualified by virtue of their performance in the SEA, or lack thereof, for this remedial course. The Ministry of Education has indicated we're providing breakfast, we're providing lunch for the students, all of the different subjects that they would be offering, and so on. Let me pull up the flyer here. I want to make sure we get it right. Where is it? So, hold on, right. Parents, Vacation Revision Program starts Monday, July 18, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. Mathematics, English Language Arts, English Language Arts Writing, Music and Drama, Guidance and Student Support Services, small classes and individual attention, breakfast and lunch provided. Breakfast and lunch provided, right? So the ministry has gone all out to accommodate these students, to ensure that they have an environment and the resources that they need to facilitate the main point of the exercise, which is to help them to get a better grade or a better pass mark when next they attempt the SEA. 9,000 qualified, 2,700 registered, right? But that's not the parents' fault. No, that's not the parents' fault. That is the government's fault. So it is not enough that the government is providing the resources. According to Kojo, that money alone can't fix the problem. Okay. So what can fix the problem? You want Dr. Rowley to go in the classroom and teach too? You want Nian Gatsby Dolly to go in the classroom and teach? Fitzgerald Hines? Stuart Young? The entire cabinet? You want them to go and teach? Because the government's fault and it's the government's responsibility. So it's not that the government's supposed to provide the facilities for or the resources for the teachers to come out. And there are teachers who are coming out. But a lot of them, unfortunately, will be teaching empty classes, it would appear. Yeah, because the teachers would have been procured. The problem was the students. And I guess the ministry didn't factor in that because they probably thought, hey, the parents of this country are interested in the academic well-being of their children and will, seeing that their children didn't perform that well in the SCA, will make their children available for this endeavor. That's what they thought. And they were sorely wrong, unfortunately. Yeah? Well, maybe some parents had vacation plans for the children, so, you know, we already bought tickets to go to Orlando, or we bought tickets to go to New York, or wherever it is, so to hell with that. That's priority, money done spend. Well, I done sign up my children already for summer camp, so that's more important. Yes, to hell with that. That's what they're going to do. Forget that, I'm not interested in no ministry thing. Yeah, money done spent already for these activities. Listen, I done budget. You see that money that I had to spend for passage? I done budget for that long time. I tell myself I have no passage to pay for the next 2 months. That money going to spend on something else. I can't come back now and take that money to say I pay in passage to send them children to school. Forget that. When they go back out to school, it's the teacher's responsibility to ensure that they learn in school when school is on. Don't tell me nothing about having to bring my children to no remedial class. If the teacher was doing their work properly during the school term, then my child would have do better in SCA. So why it is there they have to go now and get extra lessons because the teacher and them is a smart thing they pull in. They ain't teaching the children and them in school and then they want to come and offer lessons so that you have to pay extra money to fatten their pocket. That is what's going on. You have 1,010,000 excuses as to why it is your child not doing well in school. Blaming everybody else, but instead of looking within, looking home. What is the support mechanism that you have at home for these children? To ensure that they're doing their work. You come home. Michael, you do your homework? Yes, mommy. All right. You check the book to see if you do it correctly? No. You say you do it, and that is that. Right. Same thing the next day. Melissa, do your homework? Yes, mommy. All right. Yes, daddy. Right. To hell with that. It's not my responsibility to teach them. That's what my taxpayers' dollars paying teachers for. That's the teacher responsibility, right? My responsibility is to feed them, make sure they eat, provide shelter over their head, and provide them with clothing and so on. The basic amenities now. But you see, when it comes to the education part, that's not my responsibility. That's why I put them in school. And then we complain. Why is it that the certain schools are doing very well or doing better than other schools? Instead of these guys with letters after the name, Kojo and Lewis, go deeper to find out exactly what is the problem. You see, but they're quick to identify schools on the east-west corridor. Apparently the schools in south doing so well. Yeah? They're doing so well. Only schools in the PNM constituencies, the students doing poorly. So I guess all 9,000 students who qualified for this revision program, all 9,000 of them living in PNM constituencies. None of them living in UNC constituencies. No. All the students in attending schools in UNC constituencies did very well in SCA. All of them. So they have no issues and they have no problems. So what we're seeing now in the education system is as a result of the neglect by the People's National Movement, the incompetence of the People's National Movement. So we didn't have that problem in 2019. We didn't have that problem in 2020, 2021. We had it in 2022. So apparently in 2019, 2021, the UNC was in power. Yeah? Yeah. All the other years from 2015 come forward to 2021, where we had no issue, where the amount of persons who, or students who were below the pass mark wasn't as it was this year. Apparently it was a different party in power. It was a different prime minister, a different cabinet, everything was different. That wasn't the PNM. So it making sense now for these men of letters to come and tell you it's because of PNM neglect. All of them products of the same PNM education that they don't like to hear about. So many captains of industry in this country who are doing very well, who are leading some of the biggest conglomerates in this country and holding some of the highest positions, were beneficiaries of the PNM education, but the UNC don't like to hear about that. Don't talk about no PNM education, right? PNM education was a failure. All of them come up under that. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, whose education did she come up under? Whose? But they have a problem with the PNM and the PNM this and the PNM that. It's ridiculous. You have no substance in your arguments. Oh, the PNM, everything in the PNM, and the Prime Minister had to allude to that yesterday. If he cough, he's a dictator. Anything that he does, he's a dictator. You all don't know what being a dictator is. Well, the same ones who love to call Dr. Rowley a dictator, always talking about Singapore, and Trinidad should be like Singapore, and Singapore this and Singapore that. Singapore is where it is today because of a man called Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew had the title of the benevolent despot. He was a dictator because he understood if it is Singapore was to thrive and for Singapore to get to where it is today, that he had to rule, in his words, with an iron fist. So a lot of the freedoms that we enjoy today, when Lee Kuan Yew was Prime Minister, if half all you who running all your mouth and calling Rowley a dictator and a dictator, if Lee Kuan Yew was Prime Minister here, you all have been singing a different tune. Well, Lee Kuan Yew, if Dr. Rowley was a dictator like Lee Kuan Yew, Kamla Prasad Bisesa right now would have been wearing blue coveralls up in Golden Grove. She and the rest of the UNC executive. Because what Lee Kuan Yew used to do, lock up members of the opposition without any evidence of any crime. Just lock them up, detain them. Because he saw them as being hindrances to development. Just as the UNC is in Trinidad and Tobago today, a hindrance, obstructionists. All they do is oppose for the sake of opposing, right? So you would have a bill coming in Parliament, they run them out up and down the place. Oh, we're not supporting this, we're not supporting that. This is no good, and it tramples on the rights of the citizens and whatnot, and the constitutional rights and all of that. And then when they get in Parliament and time for the vote and they call for division, abstain, abstain, abstain. So all the old talk that they were giving you before, now we're not supporting and we're not supporting. If you're not supporting, say no. But because you know that your argument is baseless, baseless. You're going to come in the parliament afterwards and vote abstain. And then you have a clown like Kirkme who will come and tell you, well, abstain is the same as saying no. Well, if that is the case, we ask all members of the UNC to abstain from these 2 elections, abstain from the local government election in December, and abstain from the general election in 2025. You all should abstain from voting. Right? Abstain. Don't bother to go and vote against. Just abstain. But this is the foolishness, and these people are telling you we are the alternative to the PNM. This wicked and evil PNM. And that's all they're talking. The PNM is the enemy, and the wicked and evil this. That's all that comes out of the mouth of their leader. But Bernie Jack Gregg is not going to condemn Kamla Persad-Bissessar for that. Right? That when you could stand up being interviewed by the media and call members of the government Makome men. Right? Makome men. And that's all right. Those are the mannerisms of a woman. Yeah? But you have a problem with anything that Keith Rowley says. You have this nastiness that she put in the Senate, the Doglaya, every night on Dogla politics, every night, every morning on doubles and coffee, every morning, making some kind of nasty, snide remarks about ministers of government who that you would seek to bring the office of the president into disrepute, implying that the president engaging in pum-pum politics and all kind of thing. And if it is that the president appointed Bliss C. Persad as the head of the Police Service Commission because of some romantic relationship that they have and all kind of nastiness. No condemnation from Kamla Persad-Bissessar. No condemnation from the rest of the UNC. And you know what? All of them sit down and watching that and laughing. Yeah, boy, Anil. Get them, Anil. Get them. And then you come in on the platform. The Minister of Education in the Parliament, they talk about education and education. What is call her? What is the name for her, Anil? Bundles? I don't know why they call her Bundles. Yeah. I don't know. You don't know why they call her Bundles. But you heard the name Bundles on the very program where the man goes into great detail as to why he calls her Bundles, but you don't know. Your memory short. But that is what the UNC tells us is the best alternative to the People's National Movement. Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Where was she for the past week? Why did she miss the Monday night forum last week? Nobody knows. But members of the media want to question the Prime Minister and the state of his health. But every time you see Kamla, she needs a prop. Somebody to hold her hand. She needs to go into the car, somebody to hold her hand. She coming out of the parliament, she needs assistance. She given a presentation in the parliament, she needs a chair right next to her to be able to sit down. And they orchestrate the thing in such a way that when she needs a little break, right, because she can't stand up any longer, say something to cause members of the opposition to get up and start to make a set of whole noise, and she will step back while they behaving in a raucous manner. She will just step back and sit down and take a little break. She breathe and then come back and complete her presentation. As if the rest of us stupid. So when she needs to sit down for a while at the Monday night forum, they put a chair next to her and they put Khadija Amin or one of them to sit down next to her and bring somebody to sing to serenade her. Are we stupid, right? But we know what it's about. The woman can barely stand up for long. Now, if it is that she has health issues, I am not poking fun at any health issues. But I am saying if that is the case, she is unfit. She is unfit to be the Prime Minister of this country. And instead of trying to hide those issues which could have an impact later on, if, God forbid, citizens of this country should put God out of their collective thoughts to put these people back in 2025, we need to know that we have a Prime Minister who could last 5 years. And right now, unfortunately. But anyway. But this is the alternative. The PNM wicked and evil and so on. But I come back to this article from Mr. Selwyn Kudju to chastise the Prime Minister. You know, Dr. Rowley that man really deserves a medal. You know? I think he is perhaps the most vilified politician that we've ever had in this country. Anything that the Prime Minister does, they have an issue with. Anything that he does. Hide your children from Rowley. Put up a big banner. Imagine people spend money to print a banner that says, hide your children from Rowley. And put it up big and bold over the street for all to see. right? Now, unless, of course, the children in Oropuch East are illiterate and can't read that sign, it speaks volumes that you don't mind for your children to, you driving in a car and this big banner across the street, hide your children from Rowley. And your children wouldn't be curious as to, Mommy, why you had to hide the children from Rowley? And you're happy to explain that to them, right? Because, yeah, Rowley's a pedophile and Rowley this and Rowley that. Rowley rape and Rowley all kind of nonsense. But you have a man sit down in the parliament every time it have a session, proud, who is accused of human trafficking, prostitution, and a number of other ills. But you put him up and send him to go up for a seat. And he's sitting in the parliament today. You have another one fired from not one, but 2 public utilities companies for malfeasance in public office. Right? And he sits in the parliament today. And those are examples for the young ones coming up who aspire to be parliamentarians. But we always like to talk about, oh, the politicians, there's any politician. Who encouraging that? Who encouraging that? Look at the UNC lineup in the Senate. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. That you have this nasty man, I cannot stand, making all kind of nasty allegations about this one, that one, the next one, right? But that's all right. That's okay. That's what we accept. That is what passes for parliamentary politics in this country. Here we are in 2022. The same issues that they have with politicians today in 2022 is the same issues they had with politicians in 1972. None of the politicians who were in the parliament in 1972 are in the parliament today. In fact, most of them have been pushing up daisies for a number of years. Right? So how is it 50 years later? Still the same problems? Same problems we have. So what? What's the issue? What's the issue? Because when you have people like Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, who has no qualms, no issues with putting people like that in the parliament, right? That you have a parliamentarian who will get up and they want to walk out on the Attorney General and then leaving the chamber would tell the Speaker, hush your stink mouth. And that's all right. But if Dr. Rowley dare to tell Rudal Munilal, meet me out on the pavement, oh gosh, he's a wajang, he's a raging bull, watch him. That is not Prime Minister material. Watch him. Watch the behavior. Right. Nothing wrong with Kamala getting up in the parliament. And again, inside the parliament chamber, talking about Makome men. And that's okay. Yeah, we applaud that type of behavior. And that's all right. Coming from the UNC, that is okay. What has the UNC done in the last 7 years? And I keep asking the question. To boost the confidence of the citizens of this country that they, if given another term, would do a better job than they did in the first term that they had. What? They messed it up from 95 to 2001, came back again 2010 to 2015 and did the same trash by 2. So you want to put them back in 2025 to get them, for them to do the same trash by 3 or 4? I challenge any of them. And whenever it is you speak about what it is that they did, and you point out the fact that they have no moral authority to speak on anything, and now, essentially I'll call and say that that when he listens to me, I come across as saying, well, the UNC do it, so the PNM could do it too. That's not the case. The PNM is doing what the UNC doing. I am just simply saying that the UNC has no moral authority to speak on anything in this country, to condemn the government on any matter. None whatsoever. When they continue to show themselves to be disgusting and a disgrace. But that's all we could focus on. So an article appeared yesterday in the newspaper, BPTT to spend $125 million on a pipeline. That is not news. That's not news. Oh, no foreign direct investment coming to Trinidad and Tobago under Rowley. The foreign direct investment is in a negative $125 million to spend on running pipeline, 58 miles or so of pipeline. That's not good news. Where that money gonna go? Isn't that money coming into the economy that desperately needs US dollars? Isn't it going to provide employment? No, but we like to talk about how much people lost their work and how much people the government sent home and how many people suffering. Suffering, really? They call a fete in the morning, they're gone. We can afford to spend $1,200 and $1,700 to go Boiters Bacchanal Road, Josie's Jamishness, stink and dirty. Yeah, we have money for that. All who telling you already, buy tickets sell out, plane ticket and boat tickets sell out for Tobago Carnival in October. You can't get up. Right? Accommodation. Almost full of book up for Tobago Carnival in October. But we have money. We suffering. We living on 2013 salaries. We struggling. And we could barely put food on the table or send our children to school. But a Fed call, all of a sudden the money appear. Ping! You watch your phone, but where does money come from in my bank account, boy? That wasn't there before. But you're suffering. You're struggling. And it's where your priorities lie. I am not saying that public servants don't deserve a raise. They need a raise. But again, the issue of priorities. So as I was telling a man on Saturday, don't come and complain to me to tell me that you're suffering and you're struggling, but you're in every fete. You have money for that. That is your priority. But you want to tell me that you can't afford to pay passage and the price of gas gone up and you can't put gas in your tank and you spend $160 and the needle and even reach halfway. You're struggling, but you don't book ticket already. And Marshall had a fete in Mexico earlier on this year to replace Carnival. Yeah, I see plenty trainees whining and jamming in Mexico. But we ain't have money. We suffering this wicked and evil PNM government. Rowley must go and the PNM must go. Go where? Go where? The only place they must go is right back into government for another 5 years. Because what is offering itself as an alternative makes absolutely no sense. That you have a man, his idea of good governance is to walk around with loaves of bread and honey and tell you, hey, look, peace, and have a whole line up like some hungry mouth. Watson, give me a piece of bread dinner. Yeah, the boss. Let me get a piece dinner. He even bring a bottle of water for you to drink. You could choke on the bread, right? But sharing loaves of love and telling you about he's the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah? That's what you want to do. Look, bread. At least Jesus gave you fish. You had bread and fish. All he giving you is bread. Dry bread. But positioning himself as he's the savior of Betham. He's the savior of Trinidad and Tobago, the next Prime Minister. That is the man that Bernie Jack Gregg in this article wants to tell you that he exudes the mannerisms of a man. Yes, Watson is an example. Fally read budget the other day. And did he make any mention about the ex gratia payment that was promised to the workers of the THA that they were supposed to get it since Christmas last year? We are now in the 7th month of 2022. Christmas in July. So second Christmas. All you miss Christmas in December. Christmas in July. You still ain't get your ex gratia payment. You tell all about September. And what's gonna happen come September? Well, we didn't get the amount of money that we had that we asked the Ministry of Finance for, and therefore we need to manage the tight fiscal resources that we have, and you can't pay it. Either that or they wouldn't even mention it. They wouldn't even mention it, because if the people of Tobago to whom it was promised not making an issue out of it, well, hey, why we should raise it? Let sleeping dogs lie. And that's all right, because that is transformational leadership. Yeah, that's transformational leadership. That you like to talk about the former administration, but when it is that you are called out for practicing nepotism, right, by giving nice, cushy board positions to family members, you jump up to your defense of that is, they want to criticize us, but they wouldn't tell you that under the last administration, they had Hona man and Hona woman sitting on boards. That's a transformational leader. That is the language of that speaks to the proper mannerisms of a man. And Bernie, yes, that's what it is. Because you are an expert on that. But you want to criticize Keith Rowley because he dares to defend himself. That you have a reporter who put up a picture of Dr. Rowley behind bars, and he knows why he did that. What was the intent? The malicious intent that he had. But the Prime Minister mustn't defend himself. No. And then you all want to talk about he's the Prime Minister, and if you say, if it is that you hold public office, you're public property, yes. But that doesn't mean that you have to abuse public property. If you want to do it within reason. Make it make sense. What's all you talking? Ain't making sense. So there's one other thing I wanted to touch on before the ads come up, right? This issue of scrap iron. What is really going on? That thieves now are so brazen that you would go to a church and steal a church bell. You're so hungry for scrap iron that you You passing by a church, see a bell, and all of a sudden a light bulb appear in your mind. Hey, you know, but I could thief that. And you strategize a plan of when to come back to steal a whole bell. So we thief a bell. We have this park, I think is on Pembroke Street there. I can't remember the name of it. That is just before the jail. They thief a whole gate. Yeah? Take down a whole gate and go on with it. You're walking around Port of Spain in broad daylight. If it is that you have your head face down in your phone, you're likely to end up in a manhole. They're stealing the manhole covers. Every little thing that is made of metal, these people stealing. With impunity. I mean, come on. Really? Is that where we have reached as a society? Such that the bishop of the Anglican Church has to come and give these fellas a warning. Hey, vengeance and Moko will fall on all you. Bring back the bell. There are limitations to what you could steal. Bring back the people bell. That is an embarrassment. So you, as a citizen, likely to go to bed one night, you secure your property, and when you wake up the next morning, it's because your front gate gone. You want to know, but I thought I had a gate. So everything now had to be made out of concrete? Wood? That's where we reach to? You can't take the chance. They might come and with bolt cutters to cut down your fence and all. This, you know. But when the Prime Minister speaks to the issue of the drastic measures that the government needs to take in order to address this situation, this ridiculous situation. Oh, they only want to affect people's livelihood. Yeah, he say you want to shut down the scrap iron industry. I want people going and lost their work. And they go put people on the breadline and families will be suffering. But we're not thinking about the distress that these people are causing. When it is, I mean, the piece of metal that WASA attaches to the blue line when they come to hook up, give you a connection and so on. That and all, they stealing, but water wasting. I mean, it takes a special kind of thief. A special kind of thief to think about doing something like that. That your mindset is so honed on stealing metal that you could be passing on the road and all of a sudden your senses, your spidey senses going up, hey, but you know, I could thief that. And that making sense to you. With no regard for the people that you're distressing, that when you steal that, these people don't have water. Gallons, millions of gallons of water wasting. Why? Because you want to steal this little piece of metal. But shame on the people who are receiving it and encouraging the foolishness. All over the country you're seeing these copper lines. Because only recently I noticed it on my street. I happened to be driving out and I noticed this thing hanging down on the pole and I see it is hit. We get hit too, boy. With no regard. And you people, they say the upholder is worse than the thief. So all of you all who are receiving the scrap metal and encouraging the foolishness, I would love to know who it is accept that bell. As the bishop said, call, give us a location for the bell, right? Either you bring it back or leave it somewhere and give us the information so that we could go and retrieve the bell. That's where we've reached to as a nation. Shameless. But are we talking about that? No. What we want to talk about is the wicked and evil PNM. And Rowley this, and Rowley that, and Rowley's a dictator, and Rowley's a raging bull, and Rowley, and Rowley, and Rowley. Let me tell you something. The UNC like to talk about, oh, this government only like to tax. Let me remind all you, members of the literati who listening, right? Because it irks me when I see you all write that trash on Facebook and I always have to pull you all up on it. This Prime Minister gave you all not one but two increases in your personal allowance. You're paying less money in PAYE than you're paying under Kamla. This Prime Minister reduced VAT from 15% when it was first established back in the 80s to 12.5%. Well, I like to clap Mia Motley. Yes, she's the best Prime Minister, the best thing since sliced bread. What is VAT in, the VAT rate in Barbados? 17.5%. Barbados has the highest, the most expensive fuel in the region is in Barbados. But all I love Mia. Yeah, every time Mia mount a platform and she give her speech. Hear that speech now. Boy, that is speech. That's a woman, eh? Yeah, she should have been the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, boy. She should have been the Prime Minister of the Caribbean. Can't give a speech like that woman, no. Platitudes. Platitudes. So she mount a platform. And let me say this, I have no issue with Mia Motley. In fact, I was rooting for her to be Prime Minister since she was under Owen Arthur as Attorney General and so on. So I have no issue with her. But what I have an issue with is people who want to prop her up and not understanding what it is taking place in Barbados. That while you all figure that Barbados is this veritable utopia, it is not. All is not well in the state of Denmark or Barbados, as they say. But all of the things that you all want to beat up on the Prime Minister for here, that you take for granted here, people in Barbados wish they had that. You have 12.5% VAT, 17.5% in Barbados. A whole 5% difference. They remove VAT offer in Barbados as a temporary relief measure for the next 6 months. They remove VAT over 44 items. This administration since 2016, plenty more items than that have been VAT-free. But all you going to praise me for that. You see, here, why Rowley can't do that here? Yeah, well, Rowley do that since 2016. But because all is so nasty and malicious and intellectually lazy, you wouldn't take the time to go and do the research to see that what me and what they trying to do now to assist Bajans, you all have been benefiting from for the last 6 years. But Rowley is a dictator and this government only wants to tax, and tax. The same property tax that all you don't want to pay here. Guess what? That in Barbados. And the rate, the method, the strategy that is used to calculate property tax in Barbados is far more harsh and far more draconian than what this administration is proposing. So whereas in Trinidad, they're proposing to charge you property tax based on the rental potential of your property. In Barbados, they're charging you on the whole value of the property, so you're paying plenty more. But we clapping Mia. Yes, that's the best Prime Minister in the whole Caribbean, ain't? Yeah, best Prime Minister. Rowley this and Rowley that. Well, look, the President of Ghana is supposed to be coming here for a visit to discuss ways and means in which these two countries could work together to improve the lots of the citizens. But I applaud that. Who did that? Rowley leading the way. In Guyana, they writing articles praising Dr. Rowley for the way that he treated with the oil and gas industry here, condemning Ufan Ali. But you all have a problem, Rowley this. The ads are upon us. When we come back, I'll open the lines and take your calls. Stay locked.
Whoa! Tell them pass it wrong. Ice, bless the loud man. Watch out it. Big up me out and bad in the people better be causing trouble. Whoa! Just watch out me causing trouble. Whoa! Everybody buy it. Grandstand. While you one, two. Somebody get a room to mash up this. Run to the back and jump up and hold their head. Blink everything. While you. Tight up, brother. Tight up, boy. This is not kind of shopping. This is not allowed, lad. Tight up, brother. Tight up, boy. Could have been no one good for them. They could listen to me kind of music and rhythm. Love people all up in for me. Shout in the night when they listen. Show me rock. I say I'm loud. Well, I going to flash up tonight. Because you can call me. People think for me. Causing trouble. Just for so we causing trouble. Everybody buying somebody in the room to mash up this place. Run to the back and jump up and what they say is not the thing yet. Bring everything way up in the air. Show them up there. Run to the back and jump up and what they say is not the thing yet. Bring everything way up in the air. Show them up there. Well, you make some noise. Make some noise. Some noise. Grandstand. Hold on. By chance, anybody came with a cooler? Anybody came with a cooler? You have a chair by you? Climb up on your cooler. 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 Climb up on your chair. Climb up on your chair. No, it's done. Climb up on your pod. Stand up on your pod. Stand up on your pod.
Conscious talk. Where we are at and where we are going. After a storm, there is a calm. Where there is darkness, light follows. Where there is evil, good overcometh. It's Conscious Talk with Steve Antoine. every Thursday from 10:25 a.m. to 10:55 a.m. It's Conscious Talk. Conscious Talk.
Your child is beginning to discover the world. It's time to let them explore. Clim 1 Plus contains calcium, iron, and vitamins that support their defenses, helping to promote a healthy immune system and normal growth. After all, your little explorer has the whole world to discover. Clim, your love, their future. Clim 1 Plus is not a breast milk substitute. It is specially suited from 1 year onward.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John every Monday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m. and every Wednesday evening from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. live on the Street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, gogi, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health, performance, and disease. Listen to Pastor Alkaline John every Tuesday at 9:05 a.m. and Wednesday at 7 p.m. on the Street 919 FM as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Dr. Livette. Join him right here on your radio every Friday afternoon from 5:05 p.m. to 5:35 p.m. for your dose of the health and wellness in a program that is sure to change your life. Popular for promoting Livette rather than diet, Dr. Livette has transformed a number of lives nationwide and is now live on the Street 919 FM every Friday from 5:05 p.m. Tune in and also learn about the U-Juice to build your immunities and promote overall great health. Dr. Livette on the Street 919 FM this and every Friday from 5:05 p.m. to 5:35 p.m. It's time that you live.
Good, that boat I'm looking like it real bad.
Are you ready for that boat experience again? The Sea Champion and the Embassy say, book with us for that unforgettable boat ride experience. Sea Champion leaving from King's Wharf, San Fernando, and the Embassy leaving from Breakfast Shed, Port of Spain, or Westside Trinidad. For more information, call 399-5959 to 814723 or email us at coralvisiontT@gmail.com. Book now and reserve your cruise.
Hey, that boat I look like it's as well. Go the out and body, the people better we cause the trouble.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande, for the Old Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Check out the Children's Hour Worship Ministry of the Word and the Family Forum every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Law and You every Friday evening from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. All night prayer live on the Street 919 FM, designed with you in mind. This program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He had showeth thee, O main, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with thy God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222. In the name of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly. For further information, call 753-1133 or email us at church668hope@gmail.com.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying locked to the Street 919 FM 3420081 4665391. The lines are open to take your calls. Jen, good morning. Again.
Yeah, hi again, Dominic. If them could support and stand behind the, I say in my words, the worthless, thieving leader, and I say thieving because evidence I will show supports that Watson Solomon Drew. Who is me not to defend my Prime Minister? My Prime Minister not before the courts on rape and had to wait till August coming here the second to know whether or not he will stand trial for rape. My leader didn't take no money from the organization he was running and care conflict millions of dollars. My leader don't call people stink and dirty and rat and vagrant and call woman that. My leader never stand up and talk about, tell a public officer, don't come here, one year, don't come here, otherwise we don't go do what they do. My leader don't tell no other person who don't support PNM, but he hate them with the big black flag with PDP on it. I hate all you and no justice for you. She leader do that, Bernie leader do that. He say he hate PNM people, especially with the big red flag. So who are hating them? He stand up just Friday, wherever it is, and get on with a reporter. And so he just talk to people. She know anything about what Solomon Jook, she leader. Come to Bago and come to Trinidad and sign out. But the leader who always supporting who is Watson Solomon Jook, he fast and out of place, Bernie. And while all they talking, they see Selwyn Kojo, he can't talk to nobody trail and no history or nothing. He has no credibility. Since that man stand up and says Satmaraj is like Martin Luther King, he lost all credibility. Them so like the Beck and Chalas Dr. Roy, like he the white fall, the red fall, the pink fall, all the falls. And while I'm talking about he's a failed leader, when you read in Kaitian News and an editorial too, they know what they say about Dr. Roy. They say that Dr. Roy is the man leading the way. They say the wish that in Guyana, the president and them will do the same thing to stand up against them oil company and make sure they get everything out of it. They say in Guyana they're not doing that. Instead they're running and hiding while Dr. Rowley standing up and letting them know it's war because he wanted everything from whatever taxes and everything so that the citizens of this country could enjoy. Them celebrating Dr. Rowley for his stands in Guyana because they say in Guyana, them leaders and them is failures, boy. What was wrong with Kojo and them, boy? Kojo rocks with that. You like a damn little dog. I see you sit down in an interview. They was interviewing you with Satmar and he embarrassed you and ball you up and you say nothing. But you Professor Wastel and all and Burning Man, you could talk about we Prime Minister and Dr. Kit Christopher with a piece of trash. All the support as leader PDP. I go on there. I go on. You reach home safely down there.
Thank you, Jen. Right, let me see here. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, morning, sir. You know, sometimes as a Tobagonian, I feel kind of shame and embarrassed to see how Tobagonian get themselves now under watching you. Because, you see, Tobago have the Prime Minister is a Tobagonian, right? And the Tobagonians following those cryptos, thief, to shame, and Bernie and all of them liquid African. Them will lick the mass feet, coach all of them. That's why you're getting on so. Them will lick plate African. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Dominic, good morning.
Morning, sir.
How you do?
I'm good, and yourself?
Well, at the Baron, I'm holding on. Mount St. George, good morning. Every time Mount St. George calls Sharon Felix program, Mount St. George had to call my name, Dominic. He does vex with me when I call Dr. Rowley name, but he calling my name all over the place. Hey, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. The PNM Council in Tobago, what is their portfolio on an upcoming election?
Which upcoming election?
I give an election is in the year. The PNM Council, what is their portfolio?
Well, they would be responsible for, selecting their candidates and so on, and preparing them to fight the election.
There you go. That is my point, sir. The election in Tobago, the Philip Tracy, Dominic, say we are the best three to represent the PNM, Dominic. They choose themselves, Tracy Jack and Tracy Devines. They choose themselves, Dominic. And they left out a man like Mr. Cunningham, who won elections for the PNM in Tobago already, Dominic. They left out Mr. Cunningham. Mount St. George must know who I'm talking about. And that is the kind of nonsense Dr. Rowley and the next one, the chairman, who resigned. You see how quick he resigned and gone? Leave them in the mess, Dominic. He resigned quick, and he gone away. That is the kind of thing Dr. Rowley and that next one encouraged in Tobago. They choose themselves and they left out people, Dominic. Mount St. George, what do you have to say about that? Dominic, I will leave it there.
Thank you, sir. We will agree to leave it there. Oh, gosh. Hello, good morning.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Dominic.
And a happy New Year to you, sir.
All the blessings, sir, all the blessings. Mr. Dominic.
Yes, sir.
It has hurt my ears when I hear negativity. It has really get to my spirit when I hear negativity. Here, Mr. Roman, you remember the Federation, Mr. Dominic?
Yes, sir.
Nice. You hear the kind of congratulations my Prime Minister get from Guyana, Mr. Dominic?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dominic, if we had the Federation, all these people who are ranting today, Mr. Dominic, would have been in prison. You hear, Mr. Dominic?
Yes, sir.
Because, you see, my Prime Minister today still had the foresight, may soul rest in peace, Dr. Eric Eustace Williams, to lead the Caribbean. The Caribbean today, Mr. Dominic, we supposed to be traveling through the Caribbean tax-free, Mr. Dominic.
Yes,
with
sir.
an ID card, Mr. Dominic. If we feel to spend 5 years in Guyana, we spend 5 years. We feel to spend 10 years in Suriname, we spend 10 years. Because we'd all be using $1 called the EC Caribbean dollars, Mr. Dominic. So half in these people would be in jail today, Mr. Dominic, because the setting would be different the way it is now. We not have the kind of judges and magistrates and all kind of thing where partisan, some could make jail and some can't make jail. All of them so too, Mr. Dominic, would be making jail under the Federation. Yeah, Mr. Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Caribbean would have been a different situation, not dependent on outside influence, but influence of the Caribbean. And that is the foresight. My Prime Minister trying his best to see if he could get it together, Mr. Dominic, that the Caribbean could look after itself and not depend on foreigners. You hear, Mr. Dominic?
Yes, sir.
And this is where the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and the bad-minded and cross-minded citizens of Trinidad and Tobago have no foresight. Everything is just in front of the toe, Mr. Dominic, and how the world run is how it turn, Mr. Dominic. That is the problem we have as a citizen in Trinidad and Tobago and Laka, the Caribbean, Mr. Dominic. Why we see so much troubles, trials, and tribulation. And the man who trying to put it together, that is the man every minute they call in doctor this, doctor that, doctor the other. You hear one just call you there, doctor this, doctor that. Here, Mr. Dominic, I'm not seeing beyond the mountains. They just see in front of the mountain, but they have no clue or idea of what's taking place behind the mountain. Mr. Dominic, thanks my Prime Minister for foresight. Here, Mr. Dominic, and who we want to see it is the business and the problem. As the elders just say, when you see puppy and you play with puppy, puppy just lick your mouth. And when you ramp with big dog just bite you. So that is where the situation we in today with the nonsensical, sensible people that we have in Trinidad and Tobago don't want to see we progress nor survive. Mr. Dominic, you have a safe, blessed day. The weather pretty well changed, so you take on the nation's road for me, please, Mr. Dominic. Thanks for the message and thanks for your time, Mr. Dominic. Blessing.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, caller, morning.
Good morning, Dominic. You look quite handsome this morning, right?
Thank you.
These colors. I am calling this morning to talk about the parents. I was just disappointed to see only 2,007-something parents sign up their children for these schools. Dominic, if you walk the length and breadth of Trinidad during this August vacation, all garage where teachers live, chairs there, people paying to send their children for lessons. For who doing SEA, who doing CXC, whatever. Garage packed with chairs and people sending their children for lessons. The government is giving it free. And you're not signing up your children for that. And when the sacrifice you make now and say, listen, children, your brother, your sister did this, got so low in marks, no KFC today. We'll take that KFC money or we'll take the beach money for passage to send he or she to school, to that school, that remedial class, to bring them up to a good level. In England, in America, when the children fail during the term, there's remedial classes for them over the summer vacation. What is the problem? Why you're not sending the children to do these classes? And these same children, Dominic, you and I know from working in the bank, you see granny and tanty stand up in the bank line, and you see the children chuck up behind them, just waiting to get a pension to take from them. And when granny or tanty dies, they send them to the hospital and they don't go back for them. So the government has to borrow them. We have to stop that. Make the sacrifice now. And in the next 5 to 7 years, you could rock back in your chair and say, watch my child, I'm working in a good job. So they don't depend on my pension. Even if you don't live to see that, you could close your eyes and say, well, I know my child will be in good standards because I give them a good education. And that is what a parent is supposed to do. Make sure that your child is educated. Not all of us could be doctors, lawyers, educated, whatever. You can open a nice little barber shop. You can open a tailoring shop. Something. Right now, they're looking for people to do construction. You know what I mean? Do the sacrifice now, and it will pay off. Why? I'm just disappointed. I don't know what to say about these just 2,000 something children sign up for these classes. And then they always say the government, they do this and the government that. It's just appalling. You have a nice day, and it's raining heavy in Arima, so be careful in coming home. Bye.
Thank you, caller. Well said. Hello, good morning.
Morning again, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
I was just want to extend on what the last caller talked about the parents. 9,000, please sign up and send all these children to the classes, please. Don't leave them home playing. It's book time, and it's a serious time about education for especially PTA children. Right now, it's time to hold on to all your books. Get to the classes, learn what all it didn't have to get the marks in, so that it will be a better mark next time when the exam comes around. This is what is going on. Please, parents, send the children to school. And Dominic, you see you're touching the point with Mr. Pozo and telling people what and what not to do. Just study them. As long as they could bat on the piano, it's all well and good. You have nothing to say about the piano. But I know the piano is on the right road. And concerning these unions and them, I know all the greedy, I know. But it's a 3%, but you have taxes. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. I too want to endorse your call for parents who are listening and who have children who are sitting SCA to please take advantage of this opportunity and send your children out to the classes if you so can. Hello, good morning.
Dominic? Hello?
Yes, caller, morning.
Yeah, Dominic, good morning.
Morning.
It's raining so heavy, I could hardly hear you. Yes, morning to all those who looked on at home and abroad. Dominic, you call a name there this morning. I want to tell that man the name he was calling and all the others who like to spew the gobal that they always want to jump back and talk about what Mr. Manning used to say and what he did call Dr. Rowley. I want to tell them Mr. Manning also said this country is a difficult country to run. Difficult country to run. Right? I want to remind them he said so. You understand? And when they don't have anything good to say, it's better they shut them out. I realize there's a particular television station in the night when they read the news. After they read the news, they always have to bring some negative character to say, to debunk what Dr. Rowley says. Dr. Rowley is the Prime Minister, and if he make a statement and tell us certain things, what you bring in anybody else to say that is not a political meeting, it's not a debate you're having. You always have to, they always have to bring some negative character to say what Dr. Rowley should have done and what he shouldn't do. Dr. Rowley is the Prime Minister, right? And they have to take it or leave it right now. And I also want to remind them what Jack Warner used to do, what he told us. She, that Bernie, or she name, find Dr. Rowley, they have mannerisms what she don't like. They like people who charming but deceptive. Jack Warner told us that. You want a woman who's charming and deceptive, and when they come back, they lock up more than 8,000 of the black youths again. That's all they could do for the black people. Lock them up. In the year when United Nations have said to celebrate the black people, you lock up over 8,000 youths. And all you feel that good? That is what all you want? All you want to jump from the frying pan into the fire? You know, I always say, Trinidadians too happy. Trinidadians and Tobagonians, they don't know how happy they are. When I heard Dr. Rowley say the millions of dollars that he's spending a year, the government, just to keep the price of cooking gas down. That and all, they don't even know that the kind of subsidy the government paying on that. But they just talk about the government, they are helping, what we doing, we hitting retail, prices high. All in America, prices triple. All over the world. But people here, too happy, you come back to the education. It shouldn't be, if they want to go back to those remedial classes, Dominic, it should have be compulsory. The principals should have let them know it is compulsory to come to those classes. Because when they're done with the nonsense, they're going to say it is the Minister of Education and the Prime Minister that failed them. They're too happy in this country, education free, from nursery to tertiary, free. It's our countries, big countries that people have to pay to go to school. All you get it here free from nursery to tertiary and play the fool, and then everything is Dr. Rowley this and Dr. Rowley that. We need here, especially the youth, a revolution of the minds. You understand me? That is what they want here. Turn around this country. It's not just Dr. Rowley pumping the government money to do this and do that and give all your handout and to buy all you. All you have to revolutionize all your mind and know that to get out of the state all you're in, that education is the key. Dominic, look, I get so vexed. Oh God, I must be talking too loud, but the rain falling, I could hardly hear myself. So, people, everybody out there, I looked on. Good morning, Dominic. You give us a mouthful this morning. And for them who spew in the go bar, it's one direction it's supposed to go. South. Don't let it come up north. Thank you.
Thank you, Zina. Hello, good morning.
Dominic?
Yes, caller, go ahead.
Yes. I really find that baby, he has no moral authority to talk about people who he's just a hater. I feel he's just a hater, and he shouldn't have conversation should be a shame of her. Because just envy of Dr. Rowley. Sitting down and taking all this rubbish from her TV and everybody, and always on Dr. Rowley, and to call him talking about God and have conversation. He shouldn't put no money towards them. He shouldn't give them no money because they're just haters and they don't like him. And when it comes to Central just like to know that the other party should get away with everything, all of them in fact. And you see them, they jumping up and bawling and screaming and getting on like CNN people. People mustn't do what them do. You see? All of them cannot do to shoot. It's just a pack it's just a cult as well, you see? And just haters. And that woman from Tobago is just a hater, pure hater and envy Dr. Rowley. That's all I should say for now. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. See who we have here. Hello, good morning. Yeah, seems that we have lost that one. 342-0081 466-5391. Okay, so that. Alrighty, I guess that's what happened there. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, Dominic. Top of the morning to you.
Hi, Carol. Morning.
How are you, my dear?
I am good. Can't complain.
Yeah, praise God for that. Well, I was out and doing a little walking and so. Just got back in, so I would have missed what you had to say. But I just on what the caller was talking about. You're talking about Anzina, about the remedial classes. Dominic?
Yes, correct.
Right. So my thing is, Dominic, I look at you and this sister, and with your mom and so on. And I know that your mom made a lot of sacrifices for you, didn't she?
Very correct.
Right. So what about the people making sacrifices for their children? You know your children not doing well. You sow the seed. You make sacrifice now that in time come, and stand proud and say, yes, anything should happen to you. And you move on, you transition on, you know your children is in good stead. Like people have lost that characteristic of sacrifice. Dominic, boy, eh?
I agree.
And you know what it is too? It's the children who are doing badly that you know the parents are sending. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a survey that they try to sign up and taking up the offer are those that are doing well. So it will come to naught if the children who perform badly don't take it up. And those that are doing well, the parents are, I would say, wise and sending the children because it is free. They're getting meals and so on. And another thing too, Dominic, when I listen on the radio with the contributions of, you talk about the illiteracy, and that is where the problems lie. A lot of the children are illiterate, who are easily led astray. They are not taking up the offer to do better. Sparrow says in Calypso, education, children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you will catch real hell. That you're poor, your whole life will be pure misery. And I don't like to use the terminology that your whole life, you're better off dead. And that is it. So maybe a lot of people should take Sparrow's team, education, as a way to good parents to get up and take education seriously. Nobody can interfere with your head because you're literate. But when they know you're illiterate, they play on that. They make mincemeat with your children because they know why? You can't read, you can't understand nothing. So anything I give you, you run with it. You can't dissect and say, hey, I wonder this thing is going to work to my benefit. You understand, Dominic? I was reading somewhere when somebody said the worst thing is somebody who is illiterate, who is like a putting bouncing head against a stone wall. You can't reach them at all. Is that we say that a lot about the parents, boy? Because it's children making children, and I always tell people there are people or parents who cannot give what they don't have. They can't give what they don't have. But at least when I hear about with people who came from on the Fatal Razak, who could read and write and who used to sell in the market, you know what they used to say? I want my son and my daughter to become a doctor and liar and all kind of things. So they do sacrifice. Today, a lot of the children are doctor and liar. Doctor and liar. You understand what I'm saying? Why not learn? Why not learn the good things from some people? Instead of the evil, to pick up a gun, to kill your own brother. They must learn the good things from people who are willing to make a sacrifice so that the children could hold their head once they transition out. They can handle the story. But no, you want somebody to tie up your head. You get there, and when you get into your mind space, as our guru, right? He's always telling us, they want to get into your head. So when you attack the head, everything is a waste of time. Dominic boy?
I agree with you.
And that's what the thing is, you know. So all who might say against it, they know exactly what they're doing. They don't want betterment. They want to get into your head space. They could use you and abuse you. You could do their bidding. And then what? And then leave you in the cold. It is so painful, eh? And it's those who need it the most going to fall prey to that. So, Dominic boy, I pray that we have the parents who say, you know what? My child did not do well. Let me take up the offer of getting meals. I get tuition so that my child can do well. And the key, quite Mr. Pandey tell you, he used to go to school barefooted. Right? That's the key. So nobody can tie you up, get into your head. Our guru, Mr. Chance, will always tell us that. So Dominic, but in my family is a teaching family. So I know what teaching is. My aunt used to dip in her pocket and give her children meals as a principal. So it's my brother and sister, all of them who teaching, they make sacrifices for their charges because they want to see the children do well. When your children do well, as a teacher, it's a reflection on you. As far as I used to tell them that, as far as I am concerned, once your children do well and maintain a particular standard, it reflects well on you as a teacher. And they used to know where everybody living, who is who, and all of that. So Dominic boy, this thing's serious. And I hope for the love of God and for the love of their children, they will send them out. So talk till later, my dear. Blessings.
Thank you, Carol.
As per usual, good program.
Right, 34200 81 and 4665391. I think we have a challenge with one of the lines because apparently the phone wasn't charged. So that one is now in the process of charging. So I don't know which number this is, but you can try 34200 81 4665391 while I try to charge this other line. Don't know how these guys do this. Hello, good morning.
Hey, morning, Dominic. Morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
I am good on this very rainy morning.
Yeah, man. I like rainy weather always. Yes, but I love rainy weather. It's about electricity that has come with rain. Dominic, Brother Sterling, that's his name, man. Who the pitch, Trinidad and Tobago. Brother Sterling, that is a portion you let out there, you know. I thought they could process what you trying to say there, you know, Brother Sterling. A lot of people, like the brain petrified, like it's in a state of stasis, where they don't have that kind of vision that is needed for the development of the diaspora on a whole, which includes everybody, because the policy is not that of a racist policy or a one-sided policy. It is of the development of the people of the Caribbean, so we can create a bloc, as everyone is doing now, the European Union, China, Africa even. So we had to play our part in the diaspora, and we know the opposition does not have that from the Caribbean Court of Justice. They have no interest in the development of the Caribbean, from the Caribbean Court of Justice to unifying the Caribbean as far as food security and things is concerned. They're not on these things. And I don't understand why they just vex with us who support the government, who basically using logic to show where the development lies, and we need to have a vision rather than this politics of the literati as expounded by Watson, Duke, Kamla, and Mughal, and all of them. And I lament how the traitors using their intelligence for nonsense then, if you understand what I'm trying to say. And in closing,
Yes.
I'm feeling a little embarrassed. Dominic, did you say that remedial classes was provided by the government? Dominic, this is what they call denominational behavior. The Prime Minister does listen. The difference between the denominational schools and the normal schools is your thinking, brother. If you understand, because the denominational schools do not have all the resources. Yes, they train their children and that's it. Now tell all you, when the politicians come to all you, ask them, were you telling me if he just tell the children the same thing, you know? I am embarrassed that those classes are not filled and that we ain't mature up and understand what this life is all about, Dominic. But anyway, Dominic, you run a very great program. There are very positive people that are calling on this radio station, and I am inspired by them. Good morning, brother, Uncle Sterling, boy. Good morning, and to all the other callers who made the contribution. But let me keep up the fight and see if we can get, even tell some of the children listen, and the parents are listening. If we reach 1 or 2, we good to go still, you know? We good to go. Let me keep this up. Have a nice day, everybody, all the listeners. The whole lot, Trinidad and Tobago, according to Uncle Sterling. Have a nice day, Dominic.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Jenny.
Yes, Dominic, sorry to call back again. I just want to say something very quick. In no disrespect to Miss Carol, if that was her who called, right?
Yes.
I want to say that we need to change sometime our language. Nobody is denying that the Indian people would have made sacrifices for their children in education. However, we have to stop looking at other people and medicine to fix our cold. Let us start to use the examples of the Africans who have also sacrificed with their children to get a good education. Stop using the Indian community as a yardstick to measure the African community. That is a disservice that is being done. Because our circumstances, while we live in a cosmopolitan country and we are all citizens here, we are equal. There is not equity. So let us look at the black successes and what they have done to make sure that the children get a proper education, while we appreciate what the Indian community do. But stop using it, please, as a yardstick to all the time saying they sacrifice, as if African people did not sacrifice. Because I'm sure, as Ms. Carol would have said, her family would have sacrificed to make sure that all their family members are being successful. I too would have sacrificed. Your mother would have sacrificed. Dominic, and the last time I checked, she would have been of African descent. And so many others of us. Let us start to look for the examples within our community, please, while we appreciate the efforts of the other ethnic groups in this society, as we should. Let us look on our community and let us find the examples within our community and use that. And probably that is why sometimes it may be that we are not seeing the successes we have in. Because if you only tell an African child, look at the Indian child and look how they're doing it. The African child, they are not Indian. And what's prescribed for that community may not be the same thing for us. So again, I'm saying with the deepest of respect, while we appreciate the sacrifices that those of Indian descent would have done for their families and family members, and they have been successful, we are also saying at the same time, in our community, there are also examples that we can use to make our children feel even more comfortable and say, I can become like that person. I can become like a Dr. Rowley. I can become like a Brian Lara. I can become like all the other academics we have. So I just wanted to lay that there, and again, sorry for taking up so much radio time. Bye.
Thank you, Jenny. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Dominic. Morning.
Morning, sir.
Dominic, you call my house with this guy, you know, the fellow who wrote the article, Lewis.
Yes, Theodore Lewis.
I'm Shalom Kojo.
Yes.
This is your going then. first begin, Lois and her father, them don't even come down in these places. They stay outside, just appeal and give the own opinion. The first begin, what program you ever come down in this community, and also. Since he's so concerned, coach is the next one. What do you do? Nothing. But all I can do is look in and pass them out because apparently only the African people are alone in China are issues. Apparently. And this is the difference I have because first again, I'm like I am from Sealand. I am a single parent house. And I am successful. So I don't understand why these people had a pass them out and my community. I have an issue because if you have an issue, just come down and more or less give it your expertise. No, you won't do that. But all I can do is criticize. Now, how it is for education, I have anything to do with the government economics. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
How it is? Somebody who doing poorly in school, how that be a default?
That is what you call camlamatics.
You see it right here, before your eyes. You do bad in school, you tell some class here, you're not going. We want, you can learn also water, you can make a drink out. We want to eat. And as far as I see, you realize something with Kojo. He just like what jail is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
He just like what jail is that what you want? But you don't know how to actually work. You don't know how to work is that what you want. So he no work from parents. So parents the worst thing. But is that what you want? Just like with James. He had nothing to do with parents. Look at crap what's I'm doing. Do you have anything from Winford?
No.
Oh, but if he just like when for Jim, is that what he want? And I could fit you like plastic. Is that what he want? You want some work on some board. That what he want. Let me get the it. As a young black man, you really feel I can approach Kojo and see any kind of help and our gate?
Not likely.
So we're talking about because you can't approach them for them and ask them to help them because there's a pass like a bus on the road. But you want to come and write articles. But I'm not going to listen before I say something.
Thank you, sir. Just a point to I'm seeing here the trending story this morning. 8 cops to be charged for killing Mova 3. 8 police officers are expected to be charged with the murders of 3 men in Mova in 2020. Investigators received instructions last night to charge the 8, including a police sergeant and 7 constables, with the murders of Joel Jacob, 38, Noel Diamond, 46, and Israel Moses Clinton, 27. The 8 were held between Thursday night and Friday morning during a police operation. And Loop News was told that 10 more officers involved in the incidents are also still being investigated. So, significant development there in that case. So let's see where this plays out. Carol.
Yes, my dear.
Yes,
Nick, I just want to tell my dear Jenny, I think you misunderstood me when you heard me because I started off talking about sacrifices. And that's why, hence the reason why I asked Dominic, based on what I have seen and so on and so, that his mom, as an African woman, made sacrifice. And so too, my family, my parents made sacrifices for the betterment of their children. So when they transition, we could hold our end. But even my aunt, one of my aunts who was a principal, she too said it. Look at those children there. They're selling in the market, but they're doing certain things. But the emphasis was not that. You have people walking with Miss Susila and the others. And what they're saying about Dr. Rowley. What about all the degraded and nasty things they said on the social media? The Ramcharan milk and all of them. What were these people saying about African people? Dominic, I am sure you understood my message. Dominic?
Yes, Carol.
I am sure you understood my message. The focus wasn't on them, per se, but on sacrifice, the bigger picture. And my thing is, my people of African descent walking and talking nonsense about your own African Prime Minister, and that has been done over the years. So I am saying, when you want to walk and talk, Shakespeare said it best, in Merchant of Venice. Did you do Merchant of Venice, Dominic?
Yes, I did.
Right. And when Shylock say, I will do certain things, but I won't eat with you, I won't drink with you and all that. Certain things I will do with you, certain things I will not do with you. You understand? So my thing is about sacrifice. My focus wasn't there really. I just brought it in as a by the way, so that people know to make sacrifices when their children are concerned. You have Dr. Eric Williams, his mother used to sell pastries and so on, brilliant minds from Trinidad and Tobago. There are so many, numerous, to send into school, went to QRC, and then went on to Oxford, a scholar. Dominic that we talking to him is a scholar from St. Mary's College. And so too, in my family, went on to QRC, and even some of them went to St. Mary's too. Right? To come out doctor. But I don't talk about that, not about me and my family. It's about African people doing better and doing what is right, making the sacrifice for your children. And if you want to point out and say, King, when you're walking with this Miss Drusilla and others, when you want to follow them and you call Tanti Reach and Mother and Uncle, Mr. Pandey, Uncle, look at what Uncle and them used to be doing. You understand? Because the same uncle went to England and studied law too, went to school barefooted and so on. So that's what this is about. Sacrificing for your children. You're walking with somebody, make sure that you're on equal footing with the person. Not that the person just laughing at you inside and you walking with them. Right? So that's what this is about. Making sacrifice for your children. My focus was on anybody, African people, what have you. And as I said, I follow up Dominic because we are more familiar with him, not familiar with my family and others. Some people know about Dr. Eric Williams and the sacrifices his mother and father made, selling sweet bread and what have you, and he didn't suffer for being a scholar. All this kind of stuff. That's what we have to talk about. Not but my saying about India trend and this is it in the market. And my aunt used to come back and tell us, hey, look, they're saying this in the market. Where you go to buy? They try and come out doctor and liar. Right? So you want to walk with them. You want also to be an equal footing with them. So that's what it's about, sacrifice for the greater good of your children in time to come. Okay? So blessings to you, my dear.
Thank you, Carol. We probably have just a couple more minutes. Let's see who I can pick. Hello, good morning.
Hi, morning, Dominic.
Morning, sir.
Dominic, I thought the Tobago Council is who choose candidates. No, I listened to Mr. Lyon there, that he come back with that same nonsense again. Mr. Lyon there, one of the first things Dr. Rowley did when he was appointed political leader of the PNM was to give more power to the people. That's why he changed it to a one-man, one-vote, right? And he removed the veto of the political leader. So the people chooses who they want. Dr. Rowley no saying who, representing who and who thing and whatever they had to talk to the people in them of Tobago. So don't try to push it. And you know, he themselves know that, you know. But he pushing that. As I say already, I am not a member of the PNM. I don't have a party card. But what I do is I follow parties to see what they have to offer before they govern me. And I will support the person with the best ideas and whatever thing. But something about Dr. Rowley, because I'd like Patrick Manning, I'd like Pandey too at one time. But when I started to see Pandey started to go down a stupid role, I lucky off. These fellas and them, you know, you could still think Ms. Kamala Prasad says there's something about her that I don't like the way she governs. She's not a governor, she's a follower. You know, because she didn't stand up to Pandey when they had the UNC internal elections. She was the one who Jack Warner and Gypsy and Ramesh and them. Really Ramesh too much because Ramesh wanted to be the leader. But behind Ramesh back, Jack Warner and Gypsy and them take up Kamala Prasad Biseta, dust she off, dress she up, powder she up and push she as the political leader, and that's how she get through. Because she was on the Pandey slate, you know. Back in Pandey all the way when they was pushing for Pandey to leave. When Pandey get charged, only said that nonsense. They seen Pandey will not thing again. So she come in now. She know all the dirty tricks in the UNC, and she is using that. So that is why there's no democracy in the UNC. That's why she could continue to be elected as political leader with that set of baggage over she had, and they said unanswered serious corruption and kickbacks. She house bill, handing back information to the AG for him to go and clear himself. Eventually, he do so much wrongdoing that the time caught up with him. He in court. A simple matter for him to go and clear his name. He go into the Constitution to make it a constitutional matter. And I don't know why. It's a simple matter. It's either I ask the gentleman to pull back a witness statement, or I did not. What the Constitution have to do with that? Because they know how to waste time in the court. Because they fix that court system so good and they have it done so true that a man could easily cut and paste a witness statement and just make easy money off of the state and still sit down there in the law association and practicing law and going to the same court, and the man has serious thing on his head. Serious charges of serious crimes against the country of Trinidad and Tobago. So when Mr. Fellas like Mr. Leavitt and them come and put in misinformation into the public domain and talking etc. I mean, some people out there who have more sense. I mean, as I say, I don't have to be a PNM to know what PNM and them doing. Because if you don't follow them party and them, you end up having somebody that ain't good for you to lead you. You must be interested in who's going to lead you. So, and as I tell you earlier, they can call me how much PNM sycophant as they want. I just making sure that the person who's going to lead me in this country has to lead me real good. Because all the nasty, dirty things that Ali from Guyana said about our country and our leadership here, right? Look what he boss say. He's just the vice president of Guyana. But look what the president saying. Look what the media saying about Dr. Rowley's leadership in Trinidad and Tobago. And when you pick up our papers and you read the kind of nonsense them will be printing and telling you, the dotishness, and sometimes you sit down and watching the event, and when you watch the headline in the papers, you want to know where that come out from. So now you got a taxi brain to find out if you missed something when you're realizing that when reporters and them go to these meetings or the thing where the government keeps and gives information. To me, it's like when they bring back the information and they print the stories that the editors and them edited in and putting in what they want, twisting the words to make mischief and all kind of nonsense. But it shows up our media. What has been written in the Guyanese paper about Dr. Rowley and his leadership and what they're asking their government to do shows up in media in Trinidad and Tobago, because that is not what we are seeing and hearing from our media in Trinidad and Tobago. So the media can go ahead, go down that road. It's just that some people like me are simple. When you hear stories come out, they run with it just so. You could just, wait until the real truth come out, because the PNM are a little slow in bringing all the information. And then again, you have to bring the information to the people. Because most of the information I will get sometimes I have to go on the PNM page. Where other than the PNM page you can go to get certain information other than listen to 91.9. And that is why I listen to 91.9 religiously. Because with the things that they tell me, I can follow with it. Not no set of fiction and lies and all kind of nonsense. Because sometimes you may forget events. And when you come listen to 91.9, they bring you back and they could tell you the actual events, and then you could run now and you could go and research it to see what was the storyline at the time of those things, to see somebody how they twisting some of these things. Like how they just painting up Kamala Prasad disaster as the best thing ever. and Ms. Kamala Prasad, as everybody knows, has some serious problems to deal with. And because of that, that will disqualify her as being the running for prime minister in this country. But they're covering up, and that is one of the most wickedest things they could do to this lady, you know. And a lot of people have to pay for that, you know. And I'm already seeing people paying it because they name calling, and one by one they're paying before the court. And that's the chain of justice, and slowly they will get a day in court. They will get, and we the people of Trinidad and Tobago will get justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I think this will be the last call. Hello, good morning.
Hi, Dominic. Morning. Hey, some of them, listen, we have to control some of the people talking because they're saying the same thing over and over in a different way. You understand? Morning, Carol. I didn't think they had to call back to Jenny the banter because what Jenny said was a simple thing. Only calling back the banter, and if Polly was in a arena or that was a quarrel about herself, we don't do it like that. Jenny said something, and it was a simple thing to understand. We had to call back the banter. And when we call back the banter, it's a long set of talk saying the same thing all the time. Though we appreciate the contribution, but at the same time, other people want to call to and say a simple thing. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Only love one another and understand each other. In the sympathy, I'm have to make a mistake here, to call back to ramble. And you will love to everybody. Dominic, have a nice day. Bruce, be guided today. And, take care. We talk to you tomorrow. Love is the answer. Let's give somebody some corner of guidance and walk up. Nelson Street and Duncan Street, reach area 11 till. Love is the answer. Love is the answer. Thank you. Sina?
Thank you, Mano. Hello, good morning.
Oh my God, these phones, huh? Is the weather or what? Are you hearing me, Dominic?
Yes, caller.
Yeah, well, I've been trying for the longest while. Mano, you said it. And what I heard Sterling talking about is getting our ID card to travel to the Caribbean. I am going on 74, and since I was 50, this has been in my mind. Let's get that ID card to travel to Barbados, St. Lucia, Dominica, and let's forget the States. Everybody want to go to the States. When we had the ID card, it's just a jump in a plane like going to Bigo. Come on, Mr. Prime Minister, get that ID card for us to go to the Caribbean. Thank you much.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
So, we're out of time, but not out of things to say. Thank you for choosing Street 919 FM tip this morning as your frequency of choice. I'll take you through the morning session. There are other alternatives that you could have chosen, but as the previous caller said, 91.9 is where you get the information. So, it's pouring rain outside, so be careful on the roads. If you get your umbrella, your raincoats, or whatever it is, keep safe. And I will chat with you again on Thursday morning, God's willing. So, I'm out.
Drown
the world stops turning until the stars fade from the sky. Until the sun stops rising, I'll need you in my life. And here's the reason why. Cling to. You need more than this world to me. I wouldn't trade you for silver or gold. I would not trade you. Wouldn't trade you. I would not trade you for riches untold. You are my everything. You are my Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande, for the Old-Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Check out the Children's Hour Worship Ministry of the Word and the Family Forum every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Law and You every Friday evening from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. All night prayer live on the Street 919 FM, designed with you in mind. This program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He had showeth thee, O main, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with thy God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222. In the name of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly. For further information, call 753-1133 or email us at church668hope@gmail.com.
Oh, what a beautiful song. What a beautiful day. The day that the Lord has made, let us rejoice and be glad in it, people. Yes, I wouldn't trade you for nothing, nothing, Jesus.
You are.
Thank you, Lord.
You are my
everything. That's who he is, ladies and gentlemen. That's my love song to the Lord this morning. So wherever you are, welcome to God's ministry. You're on God's earth, breathing God's air. Yes. I wouldn't trade you for silver or gold. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't trade you for riches untold.
So you're listening to the best mix on your Tuesday morning. Yes, the best mix. All right. So let me make my.
I could never go. I could never go. No, no. I couldn't live one day without you. I don't have the strength. I don't have to make it on my own. You are the love of my life. Yes, you are. You are the hope that I cling to. You really mean more than this world. More than this world to me. I wouldn't trade you for silver or gold.
Amen. I would not trade you for silver or gold. All creation will shout your name, huh? You are. Yes. All right, people. So this morning, all right, there's a, how must I put it? I apologize on behalf of the police service of Trinidad and Tobago, who, I don't know what mix-up they had, but they had a mix-up. And so I do apologize. That's all I'm going to say this morning. All right. So, have no fear. Morris Johnson is here. All right. And the most important thing, the Lord Jesus is here. So I get an opportunity to share with you this morning, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to deal with this. So get your pen, your notebook, and listen to this carefully. Listen to this carefully. All right. So this is coming from Reuters News. So listen. The world is on fire. Yeah. So I'm waiting for it to come up. All right.
You are the love of my life. You are.
It's 9:07. Here are your top stories.
Europe's deadly heat wave creeps upwards to Britain.
Cold, calculative, manipulative, and deadly.
A Florida prosecutor recalls cruelty of Parkland gunman as he asks for the death penalty.
A filmmaker fights for Ukraine, propelled by memories of a past assault. This is Reuters Now.
Cameras captured the harrowing moment Angel Martin Arjona narrowly escaped a fiery end in Spain. He was protecting his town in the Zamora region from a wildfire on Monday, just one of dozens burning through the country, when the blaze engulfed his excavator, forcing him to run for his life. And in the neighboring region of Galicia, train passenger Francisco Perez described what he called a hellish situation.
It was just like spreading through the air with air currents and maybe sparks that you could even see, but they were actually spreading and forming more and more fire on the ground. So just like when the train was resuming its march, I began smelling a little bit of a smoke. So that would have been really scary.
All across southern Europe was a familiar scene, compounding fears of climate change. A heat wave has sent temperatures soaring to blistering highs for more than a week, causing hundreds of deaths and leaving the countryside dangerously dry, according to authorities. That means fires that burn much longer and spread much farther. Thousands of firefighters from Portugal to France were struggling to contain the blazes. Other people struggled simply to find any respite from the blazing sun.
In a way, it pleases me because people can realize that climate change has been on for a few years and that they're really in it. I'm not happily pleased, but it's a way for people to become aware.
And the heat wave is creeping north. Temperatures in Britain are expected on Tuesday to reach a record-breaking 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The government there has already triggered a national emergency alert, with some train companies and schools canceling services on the day. Britain's Luton Airport was partly shut after its tarmac melted in the heat.
Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it here. This is the ministry that deals with current affairs from a biblical perspective. Yes, so we're going to tear it apart in a little bit. But I have... oh, yeah. So let me say God's morning to Officer Michelle. You got to unmute. You got to unmute. All right.
Good morning to you, Pastor Johnson, and to your team and your church. Pleasant good morning to you.
And to you. And to you, Officer Michelle. How are you today?
I am good in Jesus.
You better. That's the only how you can be good. God is good, and He's good all the time. And outside of God, nobody can be good. So, talk to us this morning.
I am here with you this morning in the capacity as the public, in the police, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service public information officer.
All right.
So I am here. I will be with you for the next hour, Pastor Johnson.
All right.
I know that ASP Hill was with you last week, Tuesday.
Yes. All right. So, so you have taken over the reins. I'm not hearing you.
So in that in the continual relationship that we have, I am with you this morning.
All right.
So I'll be with you for the next hour.
All right. So tomorrow, please God, people, we're going to look at what I started talking about. All right. When no show, but show. So the police service is here this morning, the law and you, and what you would like to speak about. Children on holidays, parents have to a lot to give and take, and have to be concerned about what is happening with their children, even whilst they're on work. And the list goes on and on. What can you bring to the table this morning to encourage parents and children, please? Are you a mother?
Yes, I am.
Right.
I have 2 sons. And it's funny that you should mention children, because that is actually one of the topics that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service want to engage with the members of the public, the wider community, as we are in the July-August vacation period. And so the care and custody of children during this vacation period is very important. From time to time, we need to remind, we as an organization with the responsibility for executing and carrying out the laws of the land, we also like to take a proactive approach to remind parents and guardians of our responsibility and also what the law says, so that we have less of criminal offenses and torts and other types of matters and crimes against children happening in Trinidad and Tobago. So during this period, as we know, the age of a child is any person under the age of 18 years old. And so even if someone is 16 years, 17 years, 12, still a child according to the laws of the land. What happens during the holiday period, because parents are still working? Sometimes it happens when the eldest or the elder of the children, and that can include cousins, not necessarily brothers and sisters, is left with the responsibility to care for the smaller ones. And, that happens a lot in our culture. It's not according to the law, it's according to the culture. And sometimes when things happen, is then we realize that it was not a good practice at all. So we maintain that the age of a child is anyone under the age of 18. And so when you are leaving children, you must leave children in the care and custody of someone who is responsible adult or a relative. Even in looking for a suitable camp and we have a lot taking place. Ensure that you do some research into who is conducting the camp, what they will be teaching your children, and the duration of it, if you can visit during the course of the time that your child or children are there, and that kind of thing. And if they're providing meals, also what type of meals your child or children will be eating. Those things are very, very important. Pastor?
Yes, thank you for that information. So I'm going to drill you down a little more. So you have how many? 2 children, you said, and what are their ages?
Michael is 17 and Gabriel is 27.
Gabriel is
27 years
27, old. Right, thank you. So how long are you in the police service?
20 years.
Right. And how were you able to cope with your children whilst you're working?
So
like especially on holidays. Especially on holidays.
Right. So, but for me, so one of my of course, my bigger son, because I entered the service when Gabriel was about 7 years old, and then of course I had Michael whilst as a police officer. Right. So I got both experience. So when I was in the barracks, as we call it now, for the academy, my mother played an integral role in giving me that support for my elder son or my older son. And so during, because when you're in the barracks, when you're in the barracks and you're training, the first couple of weeks you're inside totally. And then thereafter, it's an alternate where you'll come out every other weekend to be with your family. And so that first period of time, my mother was my support in terms of, he being there. It was easier for school and everything, for location. So he was there with her, and then on weekends he would come home. Let me also say that when I applied to be a police officer, because at the time when I had applied, my son at the point in time, my entire family actually had asked for a deferral to the next batch, because at that time so much was happening in my life. I was moving from one address to the other. And so I'd asked for referral, and it was granted. And so instead of entering the batch, which would have been in 2001, I entered in the batch in April 2002. So I said that to say that the police service as an organization is a very understanding one from the onset. And so within the organization, we have different sections, branches, units, division, and depending on where you are working as an officer, male or female, sometimes we have the facility where, because right now I'm at admin building, I would see a lot of times parents will come in, male and female, would come in and their children will come with them, and then they will take them over to school, as the case may be. So for me as an officer, growing up in the organization, during the July-August vacation period, I enrolled my children in camps, various camps. Nehers there's a Nehers center on the highway there, which is a little highway in Davide, which is close to the area that I live. So I would enroll the bigger one there, and of course the smaller one, during the time, of course, he still had his school went through the July-August period. It was private at the time. They had summer, they would keep them for longer period during the period of time, during the July vacation period. And so with Nehers camp, and of course the church would have DVDS for 2-week period, so that also helped. And of course, being a member of the church, I knew who held the camps, so I was very comfortable with him being there and that kind of thing. And so there were different outlets, different areas that when I look at the entire period, I structured it early, and ensure that he was somewhere during the vacation period. And then, of course, during the 2-month period, I applied for about a 2-week vacation, so I would have some time to spend with my family. And I did that every year. I'm one of the officers who believe in spending time with family. I don't have no sort of vacation like 5 years pile up. I vacation every year. May not be the same time every year, but it is very, very important to me as a person, as a parent, to have good memories with my children, because when they grow old, if I didn't give them certain things when they were smaller, they would have nothing to rally through or to remind them of and to pivot on or anything like that. So every year I had a vacation with my children, whether it's in Tobago or Trinidad or somewhere else, I did something with them.
Very good. All right. So, and you also said that, or you stated that under 18, is under 18 or from 18 down?
So it was 17 and 365 days time. But once you're 18 years old, you're now considered an adult.
Oh.
So under.
All right. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking with Inspector Michelle Lewis of the compliance, which one it is?
Corporate Communication with Trinidad and Tobago. Corporate Communications Unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Very good. And good morning to all those of the executive and police officers, wherever you are. All right. Because police officers have the same challenge like ordinary citizens, right?
Yes, we do.
Have to work, they have their children, have to fend, and all the rest of it. And we have in our country today, well, we have always had those problems. It's just, it increases. And we know why, because you as a believer, I as a believer, we know why, according to Luke chapter 21. And there's where I was going when you all didn't show up. So I said I was going to deal with, you know, they talk about global warming and all of these different catastrophes that are taking place right now. But we have one here in our country where the young people, not all, some of them are misguided. And I love how you said that you have to make sure that the camps you are going through and you're sending your children to and all of these different things. Let me tell you something good. As a pastor, when we have daily vacation Bible school, I am personally there. I oversee the entire thing. Sometimes I take the bus and I go and help pick up children and bring them back. I'm a servant. First, I'm a servant. So I lead by example. If we start 1 o'clock, normally our sessions start from 1 to 4. So by 11, all before that, I'm up there organizing for the buses to come and go and pick up the children so that they'll be there on time. And I will make sure that the gate is manned properly, the doors, the children, monitoring them, that the children don't mix with the bathrooms and all of these different things, you know, to make sure that children are safe, that when they come to us, parents can depend on us to take care of their children. And that is so important in the day that we are living in. So you want to speak to that, please?
Yes, certainly. You spoke of camps that the church had, daily vacation Bible school. I grew up attending that, Pastor Johnson. I grew up attending the VBS camp. It's something that I look forward to as a child because, of course, in those days you're not going very many places, So yes. Anywhere you're going, you know.
You're excited.
As a young person, you're excited. You're excited. So, and I remember some of these songs that I learned in those days. And so when I became an older person, I also gave service to that. So all the things that you're speaking of in relation to the security of children, ensuring that, the place is safe and tidy and that kind of thing. We'll have a team that will go in before. For example, if you're camping out of the church, a team that will go in before and ensure that the place is well sanitized and that kind of thing, the bathrooms, ensure that there's, a good supply of water and all of that. Ensure that all the teachers are person that you know, is not anybody who just pass in and visit, someone who you know, who would be imparting particular type of knowledge into the younger minds, and the craft and stuff like that, and everything is well structured. So generally, before in one of the camps that you referred to, there's the planning stage before. And within all that planning stage, you get all the teachers and all of that. You really want to make sure that you get the best product for the child. You really want to make sure that you get the best product for the child. So for persons who are in any religious establishment, those are the things that you look for. when you're looking for other avenues, because sometimes your school, the school that the children attend, in some cases they do lessons, in some cases they have other extracurricular activities that the children can enroll in and be occupied during the vacation period.
And you know, having said, Inspector Lewis, having said that, you know, we have never charged anybody for refreshments, for arts or material. We have never charged anybody for any dinner that the church have had. You see, the Bible says the liberal soul shall be made fat. The liberal soul shall be made fat. So when people are not at any disadvantage when they send their children to our camp. None whatsoever. All the parents have to do is to prepare the children to be there. The buses pick them up, drop them back. The refreshments, I mean, all their materials for the art and every single thing is well taken care of by the church.
You see, the church understands our role in the society.
Sure.
And that it is not just, it is for all and sundry.
Right, so that...
So in the community, you understand that we have persons who have different economic background.
Very good.
And there's no, biases, no, judgment at all. We want everybody to come. So that the church gives that opening.
Yes.
And, of course, the base is Christ, right? So
yes,
the
sure.
church gives that kind of opening as Christ will to ensure that it is available to everybody. So, transport where the church can, we do with bus. Refreshments, because we know that some children will have spending money and some will not. There will be other things selling in the tuck shop, but primarily on the basis, it's free. The art material, and I learned in DDBS how to crochet. And so when I got older, one of the things that I taught in DDBS was crochet.
So you could crochet up to now?
Yes, Pastor.
All right.
So some of the things that I learned, I give back. I still do.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So it's really, really a good basis. It helps young people to have, persons to have a very, a sound mind in terms of what is right and wrong, regardless of what is taking place in the society, because things change in the society ever so often. In a couple of years, the atmosphere, the culture changes.
And also,
and of course, when that changes, the law changes because it adapts to the demands of the people.
Yes, and also, Sister Michelle Lewis, also parents and children. I mean, I take pleasure. I mean, children love me because, I'm very stern, but they see the both side of me. I'm very stern, I'm loving, I'm kind. Children could do me what they want, but when come to the things of God, like, misbehaving in the church, or just doing things that are contrary, I will pull the rag out, I will let them know this is where it stops. So because the Bible says children left to themselves will always bring their parents shame. That is not you see, because, and this is why we have such problem today in the world, where children are no longer taught the values of serving God and all of that. I grew up knowing the fear of God. So not just my parents, but the fear of God was instilled in my life at a very early age, because I give my life to the Lord at the age of 7 years. So you could understand why I love children and why I love to do things for children, all because of what was done for me at an early age. So it impacts you. So please, yes.
It does. Your foundation carries you throughout your life. Your foundation meaning from your parents,
yes,
and from all other sectors within society. So the church is very, very crucial there. And of course, through Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we have the Police Youth Club, which also play a very crucial role in the development of children. And so Police Youth Club's membership is open to persons between the ages of 5 and 29 years old. So during this period here, this July, August period, we have a lot of police clubs that engage in camps throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We have over 100, I think 170 police clubs, and a lot of them are engaged in activities and camps throughout Trinidad and Tobago to keep the membership active. And they also would visit various clubs. We have sporting activities. They go across the Tobago or different parts of Trinidad and Tobago and camp for about a week or so. And because I am part and parcel of that. Some of the officers have sent me some information, and I'm on some of that information sharing with the Police Street Club and the Police Street Club organization and COPS, the community-oriented policing section. So I see the various police street clubs throughout Trinidad and Tobago that are hosting camps to ensure that the children are in a safe space, that they are in a safe space. It's the same police street club leaders that have been with your children during the years, and it's the same person that is going to be there to oversee your children so that parents can feel comfortable knowing that it is not strangers that are going to be with their children, but as they continue to go to work during the July-August vacation period, that their children can be within the comfort and the security of the police street club and the police street club officers. And so I encourage members of the public to, if, for example, camps are not available through your religious organization, then certainly the police street clubs also are available. So, you have, like I said earlier on, for me, I structured, so I had DDBF, and then I had rehearse and every other thing I planned. So you make sure that they are totally occupied during the period. And of course, responsible family members. And I want to stress on the word responsible family members.
Yes.
Because,
just before you do that, let's just pay some bills and come back and you'll pick it up right here, please.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Simpsons Memorial Limited, number 63 Eastern Main Road, Laventille. Internationally accredited funeral directors and embalmers. A full-service funeral home serving families of Trinidad and Tobago and internationally since 1945. At Simpsons Memorial Limited, we serve with dignity in assisting families and honoring the memory of their loved ones. Our services include professional funeral and pre-planning, burials and cremation, custom-built and imported caskets, coffins and cremation trays, cemetery management, limousines, mourners cars, grief counseling, web streaming of funerals, fully air-conditioned chapel with live musical accompaniment, full global shipping and receiving of loved ones. We specialize in facial restorations. Call us anytime, day or night, at 623-8688. That number again is 623-8688. Simpsons Memorial Limited. Superior service, always with excellence.
Take me to the king. I don't have much to bring.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko in Sangre Grande, for the old-time gospel hour family radio ministry every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. to the Children's Hour worship ministry of the Word and the Family Forum every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Law and You, and every Friday evening from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. All Night Prayer Live, designed with you in mind. This program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and walk humbly with thy God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222. For further information, call 753-1113 or email us at church668hope@gmail.com.
He will turn your life around. So give up that gun or that illegal thing that you are doing. Right now, those of you listening, yes, you. Give it up. Give your life to Jesus. We are speaking with Inspector Michelle Lewis on the Best Mix. All-time Gospel Hour. Welcome back, Officer Michelle. You got to unmute.
Yes, welcome back. Thank you so much, Pastor Morris Johnson, and to your team, of course. It's always a privilege to be here.
Yes.
And as we continue the discussion, I mentioned the responsible adult or family member when leaving your children in the care of someone. And I particularly impressed on the word responsible. And the reason being is that a lot of our reports that come to the police, especially with matters involving children 12 years and under, thereabout, in most cases, the perpetrators are members of their family, relative of one kind or another, either a cousin, a bigger cousin, or a relative of some kind or another. And so we asking parents to be very cautious, vigilant, pay attention to the non-verbals of your child, both verbal and non-verbal, but sometimes children don't speak. And so they will do non-verbals. And so pay attention to your child, your children, to see if there's any change in their behavior. And when you're asking them to stay with someone or go by someone during the holidays, if it is, for example, their reaction has been one way all the time, and as you say, let's go by this person, I'm dropping you by this person, you get a different type of behavior. It's something to pay attention to, and don't think that the child is trying to be rebellious or, want to stay home by themselves or something. So try your best to do some diligent checks into that, and, or find an alternative for your child or children, because maybe something is happening there and the child doesn't know how to say or what to say. Maybe, something has happened there and the child doesn't know how to say and what to say. So we really want to impress on parents to pay attention to your children. Pay attention to the verbals and the non-verbals. The non-verbals sometimes are very loud, but sometimes because we are so busy and hectic with, the things of life, preparing meals and cleaning the house and getting to work on time and, all of that, the little things we miss. And they are really looking to us for that help. They are really, really looking to us for that help. So pay attention as much as you can. The thing with children is that yesterday is yesterday. Yesterday has gone. You don't get back time that you lost with your children. And so when things happen to our children, we cannot get it back. Prevention is better than cure. So as far as you can, children will appreciate, you standing up for them, you protecting them more than you would buy them an expensive sneakers or, an expensive piece of jewelry or something else. That love that you, and that care and that covering that you would give that child as a parent is invaluable. It's invaluable. So really, really want to encourage you to pay attention to that responsible person that you're going to leave, a soul, a mind, a body, a person to care over.
And that is so important that you said that. I've been married for 45 years and God did not, and you see what I'm saying? God. I have 1 day, but 8 members of mommy brought into the world, brothers and sisters. And all of them have children. Every single. I'm the only one that God did not give a child. And I the one that love children more than all of them. Mm-hmm. All of them. And people need to understand the importance of their responsibility, their role in the lives of these children. The Bible says in Psalm 127, children are God's heritage. They are not the mother and father own. They are God's heritage, and we have, well, not we, but, well, let me put it as we are just given the responsibility to guide them and to bring them up in the nurture of God. That is the important rule that we have. So when you lose that opportunity during the life of that child, when the child is under your control, and you didn't pay it and give the child the instructions and all that is needed, you know, it's like a child found himself in the prison, and the mother did not bring up that child properly. And when that mother went to visit the child told the mother, come close. And the child bit the mother ear off. And they asked, why? Mommy, if you brought me up in the way I should have gone, I would not be here today. How many fathers children do not look at? Father's Day, they don't spend no set of time to even send something for their fathers or anything like that. They more spend with their mothers. Why? Because, number one, when a child is born, that child, if that child is breastfed, that child constantly is looking up to that mother's face. So that relationship is built and continues to be built, because the majority of the time the mother is the one who is home with that child. Majority cases. You know, so let's open the line, take some calls for Inspector Michelle Lewis. She's born again as it come. She loved the Lord. You can hear it in her voice and all of that. She loved the Lord first, then she loved the police service. Or she loved her family, and then she loved the police service. So then that order. So, one more time.
Yes, you're correct. That's the order.
Yes. All right. So you hear the chuckle in her voice and all of that. And that's what we bring here to the table. Some people feel that the police don't laugh. And some people feel that Morris Johnson don't laugh because, you know, I'm so stern, whatever. But to whom much is given, much is required. And that is important. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to speak with Inspector Michelle Lewis, you are free to call us at this time. For WhatsApp, it is 737-4673, 737-4673. And for normal calls, 753-1113, 753-1113, or 240-1234. 240-1234. You're listening to the Old Time Gospel Our Family Radio Ministry, where we simulcast with the street and sky every Tuesday morning.
For silver or gold, I wouldn't trade you for riches untold. You are my everything. Until the world stops turning.
Caller, you on the air. Maracas, hold please, Maracas. Let me take a paid call. I'm coming back to you. Thank you. Caller, you on the air. God's morning.
Good morning to Pastor Johnson, to Pastor Agnes, and the audience, and the officer there. And Pastor Johnson, what happened? I've been late this morning because I was out in the rain doing some work. But I just want to greet the officer there and give her all the encouragement in her work, because I didn't hear all the program, but I know she's doing a good work. And then as she's a sister in the Lord, she loves our Lord. So I would love to give her great encouragement in all her endeavors in Jesus' name.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, welcome. Next caller, you on the air. God's morning, welcome.
Good morning,
Please.
Pastor.
Yes, welcome.
Good morning to the Corporal, Michelle Lewis.
Inspector.
I'm just calling, Inspector Michelle Lewis. I'm just calling. I heard all what she was saying, and I realized that she's very emotional and concerned about the children. Concerned, and she has a love for what she's doing. I wish her all God's blessing in everything she puts her hand to do, that it will be blessed in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
Amen.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, you're getting a lot of love, you know, and you get, that's what you get here, Sister Michelle. That's what you get here. You know, we are not hostile. We are not hostile with the police. I am very current with what's happening around the world, and in America in particular. where they want to defund the police because the police, as human beings, sometimes they make errors. And they want to defund the police. But since that, crime have escalated in the United States. I mean, the kind of murders. But let's take another call here. Caller, you on the air. God's morning. Welcome.
Hello, good morning to Pastor Morris and Agnes Johnson and the Inspector, Mr. Michelle. You know, I thank God for you that, you know, you could come out and talk about the children, because this is something around this time, the holiday time, where parents ought to be very protective of their children, where they send them, you know, and what the environment. So, you know, I thank God for the comments that you are making about the children and the place that they go in. You know, it's something important, and parents ought to take recognition of where they send them. You know, because I used to be very protective of where I send them. So, you know, parents supposed to keep a good ear and listening to what you're saying. Amen.
Very good. Thank you very much. Welcome. Continuing to take your calls here for Inspector Lewis. She's in the hot seat this morning. She's one of our prayer partners on a Friday night. You know, the police prayer forum every Friday night. If you don't know anything about that, you better get on board. Every Friday night, the police prayer forum is right here on the Old Time Gospel Hour, where they spend at least 2 hours in prayer. Sister Michelle, why people should get involved in that?
Well, prayer is the base. You pray and then you step out in faith.
Oh, say that again. Wow.
You pray and then you step out in faith. You know, as a child, long time, but still, one of the things parents teach your children is when you wake up in the morning, you say prayers, you know, and then you start your day. You know, so that there's a reason why it is done in that order.
Yes.
Not you start your day and then you still close off with a prayer, but you start your day, you know, giving thanks to the Almighty and, you know, making certain requests, you know, and you go out with the joy of the Lord, so you conquer.
You're recognizing the sovereignty of the supreme being, God. Yes. 240-1234 737-46734 WhatsApp and 753-1113. Back to the phone line for Officer Michelle Lewis. God's morning, welcome. Caller, God's morning, welcome. One more time. This is going to be your last time, caller. So if you're going to talk, go ahead and talk now, please. God's morning, welcome. All right, well.
Pastor Johnson.
Yes.
Pastor.
Please go ahead.
The Trinidad Bureau of Police Service under, of course, the community-oriented policing section. And I will give that number, and I'll give it now, which is 625-4565. And through that secretariat, we have the police street clubs. So I would just like to mention to the public different camps that the police street clubs are hosting that they can, you know, tap into and utilize as a safe space for children. So, for example, the Sinclair Police Street Club, that camp is from the 18th of July to the 14th of August. The Flanagan Town Police Street Club, that camp is from the 2nd of August to the 12th of August. Whiteland Police Street Club, their camp is from the 11th of July to the 26th of August. Bagatelle Blue Basin Police Street Club, they have July-August vacation camp totally for the entire period. The Labre Police Street Club, their camp is from the 11th of July to the 22nd of July. The Oropon Youth Club, they actually have a 7-a-side football tournament on the 1st of August, which is Emancipation Day. The Pleasant Day Police Street Club, they have a talent show later on, I think, the 24th of September. So we have a lot of activities. The community policing, the community-oriented policing section, the superintendent there, Superintendent Graham Killowan, he himself has been a police youth club and is still very much active in police youth club and police youth club activities. The Assistant Commissioner of Police, who has that responsibility over Police Street Club, ACP Collis Hazel, he also has been with Police Street Club. Actually, the Rockville Police Street Club was born under him, and so he's still an integral part of Police Street Club and Police Street Club activities. So Police Street Club in Trinidad and Tobago, the two persons who are heading it right now, are actively engaged in the Police Street Club, and they understand the philosophy and the importance of that engagement with children from a very young age to ensure that the product of a child that we get in the future is one that would make Trinidad and Tobago a better country and less crime in the nation. Yes, sir? So I will give that number again, 625-4565. That is the number for the COPS Community-Oriented Policing Section. And when you call that number, they'll be able to give you the contact number for any of the Police Street Clubs and any of the Police Street Club camps that are taking place. Of course, they're all free, yeah? They're all free, Pastor Morris. All the Police Street Clubs are free to the children, all children, yeah? All youths, because it's not just 18, it's up to 29 years old.
Wow. All right. So what's the number again?
625.
Yes.
4565.
4565?
Yeah. 625-4565, and the secretariat is located at Riverside Plaza in Port of Spain.
Very good. Because some people, they hear but they ain't hear, and then they'll call, Pastor, what was the number the officer gave out?
That's we encourage you. We really want to encourage parents to find a safe space. And of course, no place safer than in the arms of the parents too. And I say that, to spend some time with your children as parents. During the period, make some time, even if it's 2 days that you get from work, to spend some time with your children or child or your nephews and nieces, or, just deposit some good stuff, take them out somewhere to watch a movie or something, take them over, make pizza or something. It doesn't have to be anything big, but make good memories for our children so that they would have something in their bank to pull from.
All right, so you are listening to the Old Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry. We're here every morning, Monday through Friday mornings from 9 a.m., and you can visit with us on www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org. That's churchofthefirstbornassembly.org, and right there you can click listen to our radio station. It is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, you have thousands of hours of programming, ministry, worship, the Bible. I mean, the list goes on and on. Whether you want to talk about marriage, whether you want to talk about finances, whatever situation you find yourself in, you can tap into the churchofthefirstbornassembly.org, where you can get ministry material to help you. It's a one-stop shop. All right, so www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org. You're listening to Inspector Michelle Lewis here on the Old Time Gospel Hour. All right, so Sister Michelle Lewis, children are very special. None of them born evil or anything like that. Children are special. Every single one. Yes. It is people who train them either in the right way or the wrong way. Take 2 minutes and let's bring it in with that, please.
One of the things that you mentioned earlier is that children are inherited. They are inherited. They are gifts from God. And they are really God's children. The Word of God says, train up a child in the way they should go, so that when they go old, they will not depart from it. Train up the child in the way he should go. So that if you train up the child in any type of way, that is the way the child will go. It doesn't say train up the child in the way of the Lord, it says train up the child. So therefore, if you deposit in that child adverse things, that is the product we will get when that child reaches an adult. And we will see that in the society. We will see it in the amount of crimes and criminal activity that we experience, and not just that is recorded by the police service or by any organization that records data, but you would also see it in the behavior, because sometimes in your workplace you come across co-workers and colleagues whose level of integrity, and we're not talking about police, we're talking about generally in any organization, private sector or otherwise, and sometimes you wonder what kind of upbringing this person has, because the personality that you're seeing, you're seeing some kind of ways that has you kind of confused. So when you train up your child in a particular way, that's the outcome that you expect, and that is the product you're expecting. So train up your child in the way you want that child to go. If you want that child to grow up in the fear of the Lord and in the admonition of the Lord, you have to train up your child in that direction. If you want a different product and you deposit certain things, you will get that kind of thing. So naturally, the best thing to do is to train up your child in the way of the Lord, in that they would fear the Lord, and they would. When someone fears the Lord, Pastor, regardless of whoever is around them, they are not going to do anything because they fear the Lord. It's not that they're afraid of anybody around them. It's because they fear the Lord, who is omnipotent.
Yes.
Omnipresent.
Yes.
That would keep them from falling. And so if they don't have that fear for God, they will do anything.
Yes, and that is why we have a society, starting from the highest to the lowest in our society, people who just do things without any concern or fear of God and all the rest of it. And that's coming out of Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. You know that parents have a responsibility. You win or lose by the way you choose.
We want the best for Trinidad and Tobago. Pastor, we want the same thing.
Yes.
And this forum encourages that. It encourages, because this program is listened to not just members of your church, but through wider community.
Sure.
And so this engagement that you have, it really helps to, minister to the people and to let people know that there are alternatives, there are good alternatives for you.
This concludes the live broadcast with Pastor Morris Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly. See you next week, and God bless.
Because it really helps
Turn your lights down low
in a particular way.
and listen to the Master.
Music, you don't hear no kind of derogative, information is information to build persons, of course, build the nation. And this is what we want more. This is the type of partnership. This is the kind of stakeholder partnership that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service seeks and wants, and will, carry Trinidad into the direction that we want to go. Not just as the organization, the police service, but as a nation builders to build the nation.
Well said.
Pastor?
Well said. Thank you very much. So next week, please God, we have another segment with the law and you. And today we had Sister Inspector Michelle Lewis. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much for having us again. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bye-bye. So people, as we leave you today, just remember, we need the money. Yes, the money is what's going to keep us here, Remember, the radio station don't love Morris Johnson. They love the money. So please help us with the money so we can keep bringing to you good ministry, whatever is happening in the world from a biblical perspective. We'll pick it up tomorrow morning on Sky and on the street on Friday evening at 9 p.m. with the police forum. All right, so Pastor Johnson saying you have the best day of your life because of Jesus Christ who lived big in you.
This concludes the live broadcast with Pastor Morris Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly. See you next week, and God bless.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande, for the Old Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Check out the Children's Hour Worship Ministry of the Word and the Family Forum every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Law and You every Friday evening from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. All night prayer live on the Street 919 FM, designed with you in mind. This program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He had showeth thee, O main, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with thy God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222. In the name of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly. For further information, call 753-1133 or email us at church668hope@gmail.com.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Join Pastor Kelvin Heinerine and friends for The Way, The Truth, The Life Radio Ministry, a Church of God ministry, live on the Street 919 FM from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. This and every Sunday on the Street 919 FM. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me. John chapter 14, verse 6. For further information, contact